Welcome to the World at War. Dire Bears Tuesday night, Scion 2nd Edition campaign. Or Chronicle. If you were with us last week, you will probably remember that the guys were in an auto accident, or caused an auto accident, I should say. Spent a little time patching people up. You got to speak to Aline was her name. And she basically cut a deal that she would try to help give you what you need to help Sasha's grandparents if you tracked down the Fomorians that had killed her buddy and, killed them all. You had managed to track them down to a cave close to a park. Combated a couple of Fomorians outside the cave. It went poorly for them. And then once inside, you began exploring. Connor found something that caught his attention. This sort of large egg-shaped something that seemed warm to the touch. I believe one of his clones is currently sitting on it.
Yeah. Gotta keep an eye on it.
Further back in a study, kind of tucked away, you found an old man, and you got very aggressive with him. He then swole up, and him and Connor started going at it. And then when he saw some of the rest of you, his head rotated around, completely around, kind of owl style. And a great eye opened in the back of his head. And I forget if he managed to hurt any of you with the light that came out of it.
I don't think he had an opportunity yet. I think we ended there.
Because I seem to remember you asking me if it had the arcing tag on it.
I was asking, I think, arcing. Did I ask that for that or for Visage Great and Terrible?
I thought for that, because the Visage Great and Terrible wasn't an attack anyway.
Okay, then never mind. It's been a long week. I say at the end of a Tuesday.
It's been a very long.
Yeah, but if you're referring from our last game, then it has been a week, so. Or did the week just start getting long? It's on Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you're combating this big swole up old guy.
A Scion of Balor.
What's it matter who his father is? You can't pick your parents. He had kicked his wheelchair out of the way. Let's see what else was there. I think you had figured out, at least circumstantially, that it looked like he was suffering from tuberculosis.
Mm-hmm.
And Aline had told you that they were trying, they were kidnapping her to want her to heal someone. So yeah, that's where we're starting up. In the middle of combat, Connor is engaged with him. I believe Sasha is engaged with him. And everybody else, I think, was standing out in the hallway, just sort of leaning in the door, taking pot shots, and then...
Sure are trying.
Yeah, trying.
So let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Oh, we're rerolling initiative.
Well, we didn't roll last time, remember? I just kind of let everybody go.
Oh, that's right.
But there's not too many combatants, so we'll go ahead and do it this time.
Yeah, he just kind of made up the initiative as he saw fit.
Woo!
Woo!
I'm real happy for y'all. Real happy.
Hey, you can use any of our initiatives.
If you want to go first, you're more than welcome to. We got a 5.
Okay, so the players have a 5. The players
4,
have a
3,
4. 3, 2.
This year.
I've got a 1,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
and
0.
then y'all have a 0.
A nice spread.
It's a good
Yes,
spread.
very nice.
Yeah.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
It is actually.
Mm.
Thank you, Thanos.
He has taught us so much. All right, so top of the order.
I can go.
Um, before I was gonna say before Connor actually goes, is Hilarious aware that there's a laptop in the room? They've taken like 2 pot shots. As they're taking the pot shots, have they seen a laptop?
That is a interesting question.
If the room's dark, could they have seen the light on the laptop?
The room's
I'm
decently
literally-
lit. They've got electricity run through here.
Okay.
I'm also literally shooting a flashlight into the room, so
Give me a composure. Actually, just give me a composure roll. I can't see any skills.
Just straight
tracking
composure?
these. Just straight composure.
3 successes. Ooh,
Yes, you definitely noticed it.
sick. So Hilarious is gonna have gonna almost have their flashlight out to attack again, and then they're gonna notice that, and then instead, just fortissimos on Connor, and then kind of step away, and kind of like with that knowledge that there's a laptop in there, kind of get in there with their ability to get into it.
All right. Does the ability to get into it require a roll?
No, it's just my knack.
So
Well-
that you bypass security without making any kind of roll.
Is there security? Is it like highly up? No, I can if there's security on it, then that's different. But just
Okay. You can just interact
being
with
able
it at
to
a distance.
yes, I can interact.
Okay, fair enough.
And they'll probably spend their next few turns kind of like futzing around on that instead.
All right, so Connor gets a +1, or is it +2?
+2.
Now remember, as per the discussion last week, bonuses max out at +5.
Yeah.
That's true.
Which works out.
Sure. Oh, it is kind of canceling out a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah.
It's great and terrible.
All right, so that was
Anyway.
y'all on a 5.
That's their turn now.
Alright. So I can go on the 4.
Oh, Hilarious, as you poke it in the computer, this has been going down pretty quickly, so the computer hasn't relocked or anything.
Sure.
He was reading up news articles on the accident.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just what you see. What he's got on screen currently.
That's just what's there right now.
Right.
This would be something that would happen on the next turn, but do I see like other tabs on that composure roll? Like other tabs open to other things?
We'll cover that next round when you actually have an action to program.
Yeah.
All right, Connor.
Let's see. Do. Yeah, Connor will take the gloves off real quick, pocket them, pull the staff out from behind his ear, extend it, and he'll swing.
Okay.
Use dexterity. Let's see. So the flashlight gives what kind of bonus?
I believe it's a 2 general.
2 general.
2 general, which will offset the 2 complication.
Yes.
So okay. Sheesh. Alrighty, so that is Melee. Specialty. General. So that's 4 successes.
All right, his defense is currently a 4.
So I hit.
Yep. Now he does have the stone-like or skin-like stone
Skin-like stone.
on.
Yeah. So
Look that up right quick.
it increases his soft armor by 3 if he's unarmored.
Yeah, he is unarmored.
Yeah, so I can't do any damage to him. Actually can't do anything in that case.
Yeah, that's it. That's an unfortunate roll.
Yeah. Huh. Alright. Well, that's it. We just evened out.
All right, you go pling.
Like-
you get
It's the
Bumblebee.
fire.
You know, if you remember from playing baseball as a kid, you know when you weren't gripping your bat right and you hit the ball, it kind of give you the bumblebees.
Mhm.
At least that's what we call it around here. You kind of get
Yeah.
that, and he grunts. It's not comfortable for either one of you.
Yep, yep.
It's the Fire Emblem, no damage.
One of y'all goes on a 3.
Sure, I'll go. Taking swing with
Oh,
sword.
Jesus. Look at
I have general enhancement on the Kopesh, and using it in a
in the proper fashion.
So I have a 7 total.
Okay.
Take 2 off for the complication, so it leaves me with 5 to play with.
Okay.
You still don't hit the stone
Still-
goes soft armor.
I don't. 5 doesn't go through soft armor.
4 is his armor, and then there's 3. He has 3.
Oh,
Yeah, 4 is his defense, which leaves you with 1 success, and his soft armor's 3.
I hate it.
I mean,
You
even
can
Um,
continue
with
with it.
anything else with 1 success.
It does make, since she does connect, even if she doesn't do damage, it does make any damage done to him aggravated.
Okay. It places its curse on him, kind of regardless,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't even use like Flatlander or anything.
Yeah.
But it means if he had a flare that would heal him,
Yeah.
it's going to
It
be a
won't.
lot harder if it works at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just double checking something with Flatlander, but yeah, I think that's my turn.
All right. Well, you put a debuff on him, so you know.
Yeah.
All right. Who goes on a 2?
I guess Jaden will go next.
Y'all all sound so
Oh.
excited to take your turns. Well, I guess I can go.
Yeah.
We're just all trying to figure out when we're going. It's that first round figuring out.
Yes. Okay. Do I need to roll anything since I guess he's looking in the direction of the door? Or is he not?
You have to,
The evil eye is facing towards the door.
Okay. So I just have a +2 complication, right?
Well, yeah, if you can see him at all, but right at the moment, yeah, you got that complication.
Okay. Let's see. Bless you, baby. 5 successes. 6, 5.
If
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
see him at all, you have a complication of 2.
So that'll put it down to 3. And I don't even hit the armor. So that's all she can do, and she'll go back behind the door.
All right, he goes on a 1.
Quick question, real quick.
Mhm.
It says this is something that like it works. It would be one of the things in Flatlander. It reduces the target's range for each success spent on this stunt. Above successes above defense. That's not including his soft armor, or is it?
The soft armor, I want to say, increases. That's the one that increases the armor, isn't it? Or the defense, isn't it?
No, soft armor increases the difficulty of doing the inflict damage stunt.
Okay.
Defense and armor are 2 separate things.
Yes.
Okay, so like his defense is a 4, so as long as I hit more than 4, I could use one of those.
you
Yes.
can do Flatlander.
Okay. No, it's one of the other ones in Flatlander, so I'll keep that in mind for next turn.
Yeah, soft armor increases the DC of inflict damage. Hard armor gives more HP, basically.
Okay, gotcha. Neither one of them affect the actual defense score, though. Okay.
Right, yeah. The only thing the defense score is affected by is rolling to defend.
All right. Go have to check and be sure that bad guys can't do that at some point. All right, so his go. Let's see.
Best I can tell is the reason why bad guys have just a higher base defense is to offset the whole rolling thing.
Yeah, it's probably faster that way if you were using a bunch of minions.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose I'd have the option of statting up a enemy Scion like a full character, but I ain't got time for that. Alright, so what's he going to do? He could use the eye beam again, or he could try to smack Connor. Yeah, Connor just hit him. He's going to smack Connor.
Aye.
Alright.
Also, I'm going to go ahead and be treating my rolls as if I did what we'd already discussed last week. Just sort of like as prep into that.
Okay.
Like I don't get like the +1 to might stamina for being underground, or
Oh,
technically won't have skin like stone, etc., etc. Just so I can get used to it.
alright. Alright, so that's 4 successes. Oh, come on, he didn't get any successes on his rerolls. Alright, so that's 4. Alright, so we got 7 successes to punch you.
My defense is a 4.
Alright. So that means he did 3.
I do have base soft armor 1 from Well Tempered. So.
No, so it is going to cost him 1 to do damage to you then.
Yes.
So he's got 3. -1 to do damage to you.
Okay.
He will spend the other 2. Blind you or disarm you? I'm going to say disarm you. So he punches you with one hand, and while you're distracted by the blow, his other one snakes out, grabs your staff, and flicks it over into the corner. No, Sasha goes foul line over your head and lands behind you. In the short range increment.
Clink,
Really,
clink, clink, clink.
really don't like this guy.
Yeah.
Look, he was sitting in his house, minding his business,
Call this
reading up on
Kidnapping
current
people.
events.
And then murder.
Hey. He hasn't murdered anybody.
No, talk
That
about
we know of.
Just like Charles Manson. He didn't kill nobody.
Mhm.
Sure.
People he knew may have
This
killed
isn't a
people.
really good comparison to give him if you're wanting him to be sympathetic, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. So that was him, and then one of y'all goes on a 0, which I think Robert's the only one left.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. That I be. Well, if I got a clear enough shot, he'll take a shot.
Alright. Yeah, you and Jaden are just taking turns ducking in front of the door.
Basically, yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
A roll. Yeah, no, that won't hurt at all.
Yeah, bullet pings off.
Yeah, does he? Yeah. Let's say bullets do fancy stuff with armor, though. Defense not so much, but armor. Yeah.
No, I was fixing to say, I know the piercing should do something, but I don't know if it really affects him much more or not.
Hmm.
Let's see. You said piercing?
Yeah, the piercing tag. I think it bypasses some armor.
It gives one enhancement to attack targets with soft armor.
No, that's ranged.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the range tag. Piercing is something that is. I think it bypasses a certain amount of soft and hard armor. Weapon tags.
Alright, well, I'll let one of y'all look that up then.
Already on it. Piercing. Meant to punch through protected layers of armor. Reduce a target's hard armor value by 1 or soft armor value by 2 when dealing damage with a weapon with the quality.
Okay.
So I think, like say with his pistol, it'll treat him as having soft armor 1. If I read that right.
Alright. And Robert's total success. He rolled one success. He's using a firearm as it's intended, so that's another one.
Mm-hmm.
I specialize in pistols, so
Specialized.
that's
So
envious.
you're at 3. His baseline defense is 4, so the
Yeah,
piercing doesn't come into
Still
it.
doesn't work this time, but
Oh
for
yeah,
future
yeah. But
reference.
important to remember for later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember thinking about it last time. I was like, but my brain was just like, did I really do anything? I'm not sure.
All right. So who wants to go first this round?
Hmm. I
I'll
guess.
keep it up. Or what's one you want to go?
Come on, people. It's not that important. All but one of you go before he does. So.
Okay, yeah. Jaden will go and we'll use a momentum.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Shoot.
Using one momentum.
One momentum.
All right.
Let me
I
guess,
dropped it, but
kiddo,
it's spent.
you're hungry.
5. Nope. So 5, 6, 7 successes.
Your bow is also piercing, yeah?
Huh?
Your bow is also piercing?
It is piercing. It is range.
All right. So you rolled 5. I'm sure you're using the bow as intended, and I'm sure you've got the specialization archery.
Yeah.
All right. So
That's
you do
7.
7 total. His
Yeah.
defense is a 4.
Do you have a general enhancement on it?
Not that I know of. I need to add the general enhancement. I'll probably
Okay.
do that once we finish
Sure.
this
Okay.
campaign.
All right. So you've got 3 successes to play with.
2 to buy off his complication, right? Or
Oh,
did
I
he
forgot,
look?
I
That's
forgot about
right,
the
yeah.
complication. So that leaves you with 1 success. After you get through his over his 1 success over his defense.
Which, if the bow has piercing, is all you need to deal damage.
Because it drops the soft armor to what?
It
one?
reduces soft armor by 2.
By 2. Okay.
And since Skin Like Stone gives soft armor 3 while not wearing any armor, then
Right. So you have succeeded in damaging him. You finally see one of your arrows sink in a little bit.
Yeah.
Also your thing, because you're, shooting him.
Well, so it's either I damage him or I paralyze him.
Gotcha. Okay, so you have to spend a success for that.
It's 1 success to paralyze, yes. So
Gotcha,
either
gotcha.
damage him or I paralyze him.
Damage you. Yeah, you're right.
So we're just gonna damage him. Yeah.
Alright, so he screams.
Duck right back behind the door. Vinny, what the
Alright, so next up is also one of y'all. I think someone's about to discipline their cat. Mama and Daddy had to walk off camera to deal with the cat.
No, dude was gonna go feed the kids, and I'm just looking at Vinny as he's in the hallway wanting love.
Well, since I still have Heavenly Stride active,
Soup.
can I dash over, grab the staff?
Sure. You know, be I guess a mixed action if you picked it up and then did something with it. I don't think there's any sort of opportunity attack in this game, unless you're standing up next to somebody.
Oh, we never use the movement dice stuff, which I know is a thing. But okay, I'll get the staff, and I will. Let's see, the legend from Walk Unnoticed came back because I did something overt. So yeah, I'll use it. And Connor, he starts smoking a little bit before like everything about him catches on fire.
Burning monkey.
As he will channel his own variant of Visage Great and Terrible through the fire purview.
I'm just picturing the scene in that little Incredible short where they're babysitting Jack. He bursts into flames and the chanting, the choir starts.
Actually, I saved.
He has the gift.
I do.
Oh God, that's even worse.
I like mine better.
Yeah. Basically, like his body like sort of lights up in fire, kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that puts a 2 complication on
It
him?
puts a 2 complication on him. Yes.
All right. And then one of you goes on a 3.
I'll go.
All right. Do I just need to start assigning people? You go.
I'm just sleepy. Okay. Taking another stab. Oh, slashy.
As you realized your weapon has a...
Yeah, I was like, what tags did I have on the Kopesh? Oh, it does have stabbing. Or not stabbing, piercing. Okay. So 3 successes, 1 general, 1 being used as it should be used. And then, actually, 1 second.
Do you have the
Wow.
specialty with the skill?
Yeah, I have close combat swords.
All right, so that's another one. So that's got you up to 6.
I'm just double checking one thing. When you make a close combat throw or ranged attack, you gain access to 1 enhancement to apply any of the following stunts to your action from Flatlander. So I'm at 6 right now, 7 when I use something from Flatlander, take away 2, which leaves me with 5.
Okay.
Which means do I need 4 to hit him or 5 to hit him?
You got to match his defense, I believe.
So 4?
Yeah, defense.
Okay.
You have to chew up their defense with the attack.
Okay, so I have 1 thing. I have 1! Gonna keep the aggravated damage on him because she did connect again.
But that one doesn't cost you anything, it just does that, doesn't it?
No, that's just automatically. I'm going to use Bend Space. It reduces the target's range by 1 for each success point spent on the stunt to a minimum of close. So, what is his range? Like
Well,
with that I-beam?
Oh, with the I-beam.
Is that like long, medium, short?
I believe that's long range.
Okay. It is going to last until the end of the target's next action. It's reduced to medium.
Okay.
So if it tries to death glare. Wait, no. No, I've already said it. Go for it.
No.
The 1 point would have done damage, right?
Correct.
So just do damage
You could
instead.
spend it,
Let's
okay.
get this guy done with. He's
Kill
only
this
used it
sick old man.
once. Let's assassinate. Remember, we were sent here by somebody else.
Go kill this
It's
sick old
not-
man
it-
sitting in his wheelchair.
It's nothing personal.
In his study. Ah, okay.
We just want to get out of Belgium, man.
We'll see if Interpol thinks it's nothing.
Interpol don't gotta know shit.
Interpol especially wouldn't care about an old man.
Living in a cave, sending people to kidnap and beat up people.
You can't prove that.
And they can't
I know
prove.
how. I am a person of color. I know how the police works.
Yeah, but the sick old guy may be a white guy. I don't know that I've actually said one or the other, but
Moving on.
we gotta have our tangent. All right.
I know. Let's pick a
So
better
one
tangent.
one more of you gets to go before he does. So was it gonna be Telarius or Robert at this point?
I start rooting around in the computer.
All right. What you looking for?
Just seeing what he's been like going through, browsing.
Dude,
All
I
right.
really want to check this man's browser history.
A little bit.
All right. Oh, Romy technology.
Penny?
I would normally think composure, because there's a fight going on while you're trying to do this.
Sure.
So you're trying to do it quick, but you don't want to get in a rush and mess something up.
Sure. Cool. Alrighty. 3 successes.
Do you have any specialties in technology that might help?
I have a specialty that I think might help because it's called technological tracker. But it's up to you if you want to use it that way. I've been using it as a way to like be able to like know where my friends are if they go missing, if they have their phone on them.
Yeah, I don't think that would necessarily help you with a search through somebody's computer.
That's fine. And just
But
2
alright.
successes.
But you see where he's been not just looking at reports on the accident, but he's been keeping up with the news on kind of all the recent incidents. Jack's murder, your arrival. There's some like Scion subreddits where people keep up with Scions.
Jeez.
So the fanboy types know that the what's your band's name again?
Ignis Eternum.
Thank you.
Ignis
I
Eternum.
can always remember the translation. I can never remember the actual Latin. They know you've been in Italy. They know you're currently in Belgium.
Do I get the sense that they know why?
No. There's lots of theories out there. But, there were no real witnesses to your, attack, fight with the centaurs and the chimera.
Sure.
Only a couple people even really saw you at Pompeii and realized who you were, so.
And
They just know
They're
that
like
you were
this-
in Italy.
this group has been in London. This group has been in Italy. This group is now in Belgium. What are they looking for? Is it those types of situations?
Kinda, yeah.
So Connor saw stuff about tuberculosis. Do I see that as I'm looking as well?
You go into his browser history, and yes. He has been keeping
Oh, he X'd out of them. Okay.
Do what now?
So he closed out of them real quick. Because they were, I think Connor had looked at them last session. So
What's
if
that?
he starts a fight and he's like closes out of them real quick.
Or Connor saw him and he was closing out and checking the news when y'all busted in something.
Okay, sure.
You're right. I forgot that was how Connor had figured out he probably had tuberculosis.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But anyway, you said you find where he's been keeping up with the latest news on that. You go into his email, and of course he's got the browser saving his password, so you don't have to try to figure that out.
Suckers.
Yeah. The most recent one is him asking for a status report. And he gets back a gets a message back saying that they've set up at the park. And checking the time, this was right before the big fight at the Outdoor Sculpture Museum. Nothing after that. Before that, there's a few messages on gathering supplies. All pretty circumspect. There's nothing real damning in here.
Okay.
You imagine it's kind of like if you got into a mobster's computer. There's just certain things they're not going to put down in a recordable format.
That's fair.
But
one last thing
you do see where he
okay.
contacted who you're pretty sure was probably the Scion of Loki. To hire him for help.
So I think the last thing I'll ask here before I pass off to him is there, because it'll tell you on the computer, like on the bottom, is there like removable hardware like a thumb drive or something attached to the computer?
Not currently, no.
Cool. All right. I think I have an idea, but that's my turn. So.
All right. All right. So Sasha, I think, was the last person to hurt him. Sasha or Jaden won. Sasha's the one that's closest. So where you been? He'd punched Connor. He'd flipped the staff up over your head. Then you cut him. Now he comes down, tries to bring kind of a backhand, but rather than being kind of a slap, it's coming down.
Elbow first.
Like he's trying to drive you into the ground like a nail.
Row.
Plesno.
Row, Raggy.
All right, there's a 10.
Not like this.
There's an 8. We rolled this 10. All right, so we got 5 successes. He's got a 2 complication on him.
Rolling a resilience stat.
Now, does the visage affect him if he's not attacking you, though, Connor?
If he does anything while I am within line of sight that does not somehow help him run from me.
Okay. So that leaves him with 3. What is your defense, Sasha?
I think just baseline 1.
Right.
Baseline
You can make a defense roll, though.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Okay. Oh, we got Otter in the chat. And yes, Otter, they are still beating up this old, sick man who they just pulled out of his wheelchair. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
2, because general enhancement from the Kopesh. Or does that not count into... Does that count to defense rolls?
I was supposed to look it up over the weekend. I forgot to, so we're going to let you keep using it, at least for this fight.
Cool. 2.
So that drops him down to 1.
So you have a defense 3, then. All Scions start with a defense of 1.
Oh. So then I have
you
one
added
from
1
the
from
roll.
the roll plus the enhancement.
Question. Does his visage great and terrible affect my roll?
Yes, because you're not trying to run away.
Okay, so I have 1.
Good to know.
Okay, so he had... What did I say? He had
3.
3.
I have 1 after... I had it.
So that leaves him 2 to play with.
Yeah.
All right, well, he's going to do damage to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Otter, you just used the exact quote they've been using. Or at least they were before we started recording.
Yep.
Yeah.
They want that to be
If
the title of the
episodes-
episode.
Yeah, if episodes have a title, that would be the title of this episode.
Mm-hmm. It really would be.
All right, so he does damage to you. Oh, what do you know? He smacks you as you stumble back. His other hand grabs you on the wrist. And rather than pull you, though, his hand just kind of slides across yours and then yanks the sword out of your hand. He yeets it across the other side of the room. So it goes flying over Connor's head.
He needs 2 successes for disarm and close combat.
He had 3.
Yeah, and I
One
had
defense.
1.
That left him 2. Damage
Oh,
is 3.
damage is for free. I forgot.
You know, unless you've got some
No.
soft armor stuff going on.
No, okay.
So next round, you'll just have to punch him.
That'll be effective.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Or, you know, pull out your jar of bees and just smash it on his forehead.
I keep forgetting I have the jar.
Do you still have it, or did you use it at some point?
It refills every morning.
That's right. Y'all have had a morning since the.
And I haven't used it
museum
since.
fight, so.
Flippy frickin'. I didn't even use it at the museum fight. I'm gonna put a post-it up here.
Just take a post-it note, draw a little bee, cute little bee on it, and stick it on your monitor.
Just gonna Nicolas Cage, not the bees.
Okay, but draw cutesy little bees swarming around his head.
I'll give him fluffy wings.
All right, so that was his go. Robert.
Yes, sir. Well, let's see. Let's see if I'll fire and miss.
Fired and missed.
Well, it would meet.
All right, so that's 2. You're using a gun as a gun, and you got the specialty.
Mm-hmm.
Are we missing anything else? Are there any generals or anything you add?
No, sir.
Clink.
But does Visage Great and Terrible count technically for folks in the hallway?
Yes, because they can see him.
Yeah.
If you were looking at him through a sniper rifle scope, it would affect you because you could see him.
Yeah, he's just aiming
That
down the hallway with
360
iron
no
sights.
scope him, right?
Mm.
Eyes
Yeah.
closed.
I was gonna say, is there any way for like the folks taking ranged pot shots at him to maybe take like a complication for trying to just like, shoot him without looking?
That would probably be as bad or worse than the complications for looking at him and trying.
Yeah, probably fair
I
point.
was
Never
about to
mind.
say it wouldn't really matter if I'm suffering complications. Then I'm pretty much just going to.
So your bullet strikes him, but kind of pings off. You don't have the extra successes to actually buy damage.
Okay.
How many times do we have to teach this old man a lesson?
I think if
I
you
mean,
roll,
if it keeps
I think 1 higher, and you could have because you got the piercing.
I mean, if it keeps up, then he's just going to have to turn that pistol around and just hit it with a butt. Just come around, pistol whip.
Clack.
All right, top of the order.
All right. Jaden will take up pop shot unless Monkey Man wants to go first.
Monkey Man wants to swing.
Then let Monkey Man go first.
He's right up there. He wants to swing. Monkey Man's gonna swing.
All right, swing, Monkey Man.
Oh no!
Monkey
Shit.
Man does not swing.
We get 3 momentum.
Yeah. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I really don't either.
All right, Jaden, take a shot.
Okay.
Show Monkey Man how it's done after you watch him whiff.
I'm gonna use 2 momentum.
He's a spry, sick old man.
What you got? That's
3, 5 successes.
We do damage again.
So yeah, that's 5.
Oh wait, no.
No, 5 successes. Take away 2 for his visage. That leaves her with 3.
Then he has a 4 defense.
Yeah. So not quite.
I mean, the arrow hits, so, doesn't whiff.
Clearly, the arrow was coming in right next to Connor's fist, so when he dodged one, he just dodged them both.
Mm.
All right, next up. All right, Robert,
I'll go.
Too late. Y'all waited too long. So I had to pick. Y'all keep making Robert go last. So Robert, go.
He doesn't
All
speak
right.
up, so
We're technically not
I'm
making it.
sorry.
We're making
Right,
you team
well,
captain. Whatever the next
since-
campaign is, we're making you team captain. You'll have to do all the talking.
Sure, that'll go well. Anyway.
We'll play the quiet place, the RPG. You'll be a natural.
Love you too, sir. But anyway, moving on. Robert hasn't had much success with range, so he's gonna move on up and flip the pistol around and pistol whip.
Now, does that actually give you any advantage? Because you
It's the
did
same.
take the specialty in melee for pistol, so you can pistol whip with exceptional skill. But you're not using the gun as it's intended. So that's one extra bump you're not getting.
Is it?
Now, you might
I
be
thought
rolling
he
more
put-
dice with your strength
But
or something.
see, the beautiful thing is because of which one is it? Because of the warrior, I have master of weapons, which allows me to put it into extra tag. So I've given it melee.
Oh, go right ahead
So it's
then.
piercing and melee.
So either way, I'm going to make sure it's effective.
using it as it's
Yeah.
intended.
Technically.
Working
mean,
as
it-
intended.
By
I
saying
don't know that
any good.
pistol whipping somebody if the pistol would have piercing on that. That just seems weird.
No,
No,
it
but-
won't have piercing. Shooting it will have the piercing, but I can at least get the pistol melee tag, so I can at least get the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Unless the melee tag is you have a bayonet you put at the end of it.
How many people here have played Deadlands?
I've seen people play Deadlands.
You have a monster called the Hanging Judges.
Uh-huh.
They use these big 6-shooters with bayonets on the end. I've got a miniature of
Where
one
do you
around here
think
somewhere.
the idea came from?
I was thinking to say that was oddly so specific, and I actually don't want to imagine a pistol with a good sized bayonet on the end.
It's terrifying.
Being carried by
I
an undead
imagine it's
rogue guy.
terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god. Alright. So let's switch this to close combat. And swing and a miss. Swing and a
Hopefully
miss.
not.
Well, I come up to him and I'm just whack, do nothing.
All right, that's 2.
+2.
You got the melee skill and the master weapons thing, so that gets you up to 4. So yeah, you've equaled his
Ellie.
defense, but you don't have anything left over to buy actual damage.
Yeah. So he's witnessing what his bullets did just up close.
All right, so then it's his go. Oh man, he's suddenly in a target-rich environment.
Yep.
Basically.
He is going to try
He's
to.
still got the complication from the short range thing.
Okay.
No, wait, no, I did damage instead. Nix that, never mind, forget me. Ignore me!
Well, no, we don't want to do that.
All right. He is going to do a multiple action
Okay.
I hate it.
as he tries to do his best imitation of Moe from the Three Stooges and slap 2 people at a time.
Okay.
Oh, wise guy. Nya, nya, nya.
Even. I'm gonna roll dice the die roller so y'all can see it. Even, it'll be Robert and Sasha. Odd, it'll be Connor and Robert.
Either way, I'm getting mid slapped.
I'm picturing you. I'm picturing you standing in the middle of the 3. Oh, what a waste of a 10. All right, so it was even, which meant what did I say? Even meant. I think even was Robert and Sasha, wasn't it?
Yeah.
look on the bright side, Sasha. You want your grandparents to wake up and see you all bruised, so they know you put effort into saving them.
I think she'd rather be alive when they wake up.
Oh, hang on. I got to re-roll that. I forgot to take out the penalty for the multiple actions. Because he does not get to roll as many dice doing that. I believe it's 2 dice for every... He loses 2 dice for every extra action. And has used, if he's using different dice pools, he has to use a smaller pool as well. Huh, and interestingly... Alright, so that is... He has a total of 7, minus 2 for the complication from Connor's visage. So that leaves him 5. I assume the 2 of you want to make defense rolls.
Yes, please. I have still 1 defense because we have the complication from bad guys visage great and terrible.
Would defending be like you're trying to avoid getting hurt?
But you're not running away. It's not you trying to get away from him.
Huh.
If you were making a parkour roll to climb a wall to get away from him, then it wouldn't affect you.
Okay.
Alright, so no successes essentially there. So that leaves him 5 to play with, but he has to divide those 5 between the 2 of you. Of course, he can do damage for free. So he's going to damage Sasha, damage Robert, and then spend 4 to crit Robert.
Oof.
And then he's going to spend the last one blinding Sasha.
So that was a hit and a crit, so that's 2
you take
injury
2.
tags.
Yeah, 2. You start with your bruise and work down, you know.
Is Robert close enough to Jaden to do the reflect
You're not even in the same room with him.
No. Well,
Yeah.
it's with the door, so didn't know.
I'm gonna say you'd have to at least be in the same room with him. You're literally ducked around a corner reloading your bow at this point.
Okay.
All you hear is a meaty thump. You wouldn't even know necessarily who got hit.
Okay.
Big oof.
All right, so that gives Sasha 1 more complication next round on shooting or thrown attacks. So
yeah.
if you step over and grab your sword and swing at him, that's not really going to have a big effect.
Which is, I think I'm next, right?
Whoever goes last, and I think no, wait a second.
I haven't gone yet.
I haven't gone either.
We may let him go out of order then.
Because it was Connor, Jaden, and then you called Robert, and then he went.
Okay, so it's your go. So whatever you do this round, don't worry about that complication.
Okay.
Because you should have technically gone before him.
She's going to go grab the Kopesh and unleash the bees.
All right.
And I'll link the bee stuff in the chat.
Not the bees.
All the bees.
Can she grab the Kopesh and do a simple action the same turn?
Yes, yeah. The simple action
Okay.
would be an issue. If you're swinging at him, you take like a 2 dice penalty or something for like multiple action. That'd be it.
No, she's grabbing the bees, and they're going to go show him just lots of love and affection.
All right, so let's see.
It's a rank 3 complication.
Ooh.
Applies to all physical action. Moving away from it requires successfully disengaging. The swarm uses my presence plus occult to oppose any of his rules. It also takes an injury condition and reduces his... Wait. I don't get... the result thing. Take an injury condition and reduce your defense by 1 until your next round. Probably on the guy that she's sticking it on.
Yeah, I would think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. If he fails the roll. I would think.
Though I'm curious as to how his soft armor would affect that.
It says directly take an injury condition, so I'm assuming
Yeah.
soft armor doesn't do anything there.
All soft armor does is it increases the DC of the inflict injury stunt from attacking.
Okay, which is not something this uses. Okay. So your bees swarm out.
Which, if she went before him, then that multi-attack he did would have an extra 3 complications on it.
Okay, so Robert, you are not critted. Return one of those damages to you. And then I think Talarius is last.
Talarius is just looks back over and he's like, "Look, man, I'm sorry about your shit," and then just gonna kind of fall back a little bit and just Fortissimos Jaden.
Okay.
So you actually drop back a little ways in the hallway.
Mhm.
All right, so Jaden's got a +2.
Yeah.
Then we're at the top of the order.
Did Monkey Man want to go first again?
He's got 5 complications on him. Wreck him.
Yeah, he does. And I will imbue 1 legend to activate a blessing on myself and ignore up to 3 points of complications spread out across 1 or more actions.
All right.
So then I will take 2 momentum as well.
Just do that.
Shan, man.
So you're spending 2?
God damn. Okay. Hold on.
Man, the dice roller does not like you tonight.
Okay, that's
You
better.
got a 10.
Now re-roll that 10.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
So 1 success on the roll plus your.
yeah, so 3. So that's 4. So I hit him for nothing.
But you made contact. That was worth
Yeah.
momentum.
We got the XP for momentum now, though, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is true. All right, next up.
Jaden will go next. Shoot. 5, 7 successes.
All right, 7 successes, -2 for the complication.
It's 5.
So yeah, that gets you 5. Now you're counting in the 2 Talarius gave you into that?
Yes.
Okay. So that leaves you with 5. His defense is 4. You've got piercing, so you've only got to spend the 1 to do damage, so you succeed to do damage to him.
We will be doing damage, yes.
All right, how you want this to go down?
As you're doing what you're gonna think of, there's just a spotlight on you the whole time. It's the perfect lighting for whatever.
And his eye is in our direction, right?
Correct.
Our right.
Right in that big center sideways eye.
Yep. Right smack dab in the middle of it.
The big eye snaps shut around the arrow. It's still sticking out of the back of his head. His head rotates back around as he kind of, drops back. As he does this, his big, bulgy, malformed muscles all start, shrinking back down. So when he hits the ground, he's back to looking like just an old man.
All right.
He's kind of giving little twitches as the arrow's sticking out of the back of his head.
As he falls, like, all right, everyone get out of that room now.
Why?
The man probably has tuberculosis.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
There's also bees all around him.
That too.
And Sasha can control the bee. She would call him, like, kind of back to her.
So y'all start pulling back. He coughs once. Those of you that are actually in the room with him hear him kind of laugh. Yeah, this was a better way to die than I was going to get.
You're welcome.
You're not in the
Mr.
room. You
Park?
didn't hear it.
That's fair.
Well, I guess unless his laptop had a mic. And then he kind of
But,
goes still. Because,
but
the
as
arrow
soon
stick out the
as-
back of his head.
As soon as the three of them walk out, she'll have immunization booster up.
Okay.
Because it'll at least help them.
Not catch
Just-
tuberculosis.
It's a +2 enhancement to all rolls to resist diseases and poison. So
Just getting hit with, like, the hazmat suit on the way out. And
The chemical bath.
Mm-hmm.
She reaches into her medical bag, pulls out 2 disinfectant spray cans psst, as y'all walk back in.
just
Yeah.
get just doused in Lysol.
yeah, basically.
From way back down the hallway behind you, you hear Bill's voice. Once things get quiet. Is everything okay up there?
Holy shit! I have a flashlight pointed at him.
Is the guy dead?
Yes, he's very much dead.
Okay. Well, your problem's dead. How does that count for okay?
That's pretty okay. And then he
Good.
walks up to catch up with you.
We're not taking any proof back because he likely has tuberculosis.
He does have to.
He has tuberculosis. We're not taking any proof back.
We could take a picture.
That's just morbid.
No. He can vouch.
As you go, he can vouch, you hear it, and then Bill puts his phone in.
Whatever.
Let's
outta here.
go,
I
please.
want to beat up an old man.
Bill's like, whoa, y'all didn't beat up an old man. You flat out murdered him. Yes.
Keep walking.
Come on, he was an evil old man.
Just keep going.
I just want.
He murdered my buddy. I ain't sorry. I ain't sorry. Kicks
That's
the body.
fair.
He kicks the body once
Just
and then
keep
walks
walking.
Then he walks
Jane
back
has
in,
to
steals the
immunize-
guy's laptop and walks back.
Yeah. Now he gets hit with immunization booster.
Lysol directly in the face.
Do
What'd you
seals
say
catch
he-
tuberculosis?
Well, the story guide characters are automatically protected under this, so they don't need to make rolls to make sure they're protected. They're automatically protected as soon as they get hit with it.
Did you said he took the laptop?
Yeah, Bill did.
There's nothing on there.
Hmm.
It's not worth it. Unless it's your laptop, then fair enough.
Yes, seals can.
Okay.
And now we know.
You're welcome.
The more you know.
What happens if the seal starts coughing underwater, though?
Nothing good.
No, it wouldn't be anything good.
Nothing good for the ecosystem at all.
Not good for the seal. Not good for the ocean.
I mean, the fish would be fine. They don't have lungs.
But I mean, that's why.
You get tuberculosis on gills.
That's not a question I want to know the answer to.
Yeah, let's leave this tangent. It's a silly place.
I'll just start going over the stuff that I saw since he has a laptop, kind of
Okay,
giving
you
him
poke through the
clip
emails
notes.
some more and whatnot. Like I said, you see where he was hiring the Scion of Loki. Not that he ever calls him that, but he was hiring a specialist to help them fool, some folks that come into town. So, he seems to have gotten an anonymous message tipping him off that y'all were coming.
Interesting.
Well in advance. I mean, he got that message before y'all left Nebraska.
Ooh,
We didn't even
Interesting.
know we were coming here before we left Nebraska.
now that's interesting. And now
Do we know
tell
who said
everybody else that.
the message?
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
What was that? What was that rap?
About to say, would they know, like, who would have sent that message?
Oh, it was sent anonymously.
Just have to send it through something. It's encrypted.
Could we trace the IP?
Mm.
Enhance.
Enhance. That's my job. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try to track it, but it it looks like it was
Good
a
stuff.
random Hotmail account. So
That's fine. Just
the email address was a random string of letters. So
that's whatever that is just someone using a burner account, which is fine. Burner accounts. Use them for emails too.
it's annoying when other people do it. All right, so y'all head back out of the cave. If you poke around the cave, there, I mean, I guess you could loot their stuff or whatever, but they don't have anything too fancy.
Giant egg.
That was just going to
One
be
of the
breakfast
clothes.
tomorrow morning.
One of the Connor clothes is just like this with a big ass egg.
So when one of your clones catches on fire, do they all catch on fire?
We can't catch on fire.
I meant when you burst yourself into flames.
No, just me.
Okay.
But yeah, once that's done, real Connor is going to head back to that room where his clone is.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna pop the clone, and he'll just pat things like, well, ready to go.
It's warmer to the. It's a little bit warmer to the touch now than it was before. You're pretty sure. Not drastically, but.
Is this something you're doing in full view of everybody?
Did you follow him?
No, just like you're gonna come back to us eventually.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's coming back carrying a giant egg. I think you said this thing was like what, 5 feet tall or something like that.
I believe so.
6 feet. Somewhere. I think you said it was like Connor height.
Yep, and it's. Imagine a chicken. The shape. Imagine a chicken egg, but then a little bit squatter.
So yeah, he'll just
You're just gonna.
come back out carrying that.
What's that?
I found it.
That's not an answer.
That's really not an answer.
Well, what does it look like?
It looks like breakfast.
Question is, how are you gonna get that back home?
We have a car.
He's gonna run it to Nebraska, isn't he?
I'm about to say
He
through
could
the.
literally run it across the ocean.
I'm about
Yeah.
to say, how is he gonna get it through the airport?
The same way we've probably gotten Smoochums and Spruce through, using bureaucracy.
And now I can disappear.
This is emotional support egg.
Although there is something to be said about like, will it survive the pressure, the cabin pressure on a plane?
Yeah, because it does get.
Or would it crack like an egg?
That's a mighty force being put upon it. That's why your ears pop when you're on a plane.
We'll figure it out. Or I'll figure it out.
Alright, so you walk outside. There's the body of 2 Fomorians.
Do we want to put them in the cave so they're at least not out in the open?
I mean, yeah, that would work.
Good. Somebody do that. I'm going to sit right over here. And she just sits down. Bees have already, left.
Connor will just, hook a foot under him and just yeet into the cave. Considering his hands are full at present.
If you guys want to roll to try to heal yourselves while we're sitting here, you guys do get a +2 enhancement.
So Jaden basically starts patching everybody up.
Yeah. You guys just gotta make your rolls.
What's the roll?
We said it was what, medicine?
Medicine intelligence.
Yeah.
I'll get in on that roll. Ooh.
That's 5.
Yeah. More than enough to do a bruise.
Nope. I fail. Momentum.
We got 4.
This
Two.
is ship
Now.
before.
We're
Oh, we're
Oh,
at 4?
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Y'all had a few failed rolls that had earned you some.
Yeah.
Is that enough to take away a bruise?
Yeah, I think bruise was what? 2.
How about a maimed?
oh jeez.
Maimed is 5.
Yeah, I'm just going to be over here.
Maimed but not bruised.
So if someone hits you again, it goes back. You have to start the bruise track. You're good.
All right, so y'all make y'all's way back down the hillside, or the little wooded hill.
Duba, don't forget to make your roll as well.
Oh yeah, because he did take at least a bruise.
Yeah.
But Sasha seems to be the worst injured, so Bill's over there, kind of letting her prop on him. You get back to the parking lot.
Wait, how many of us are still covered in blood and gore from the guys outside walking through a park?
You really haven't had a lot of time to clean up, so
Because I'd say 3 of us, I think 2 or 3 of us were up front when the guy's head exploded. From the guys out front.
Ah, yes, the Gallagher incident.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, y'all look a sight.
Maybe
Yeah.
someone should bring the vehicle closer so which of us are covered in blood? Is it just Connor, Sasha, and who else?
Let's see, it was Connor, Sasha, and I think, was it Bill? Because they were
Bill.
creeping up on Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that means all 3 of us, I think, have walk unnoticed or some kind of variation of it, because wasn't Bill the sneak?
Yeah, I don't think he had a magic power that they knew that, though. He was just sneaky.
Sasha's just gonna walk unnoticed.
You just sit unnoticed.
Well, no, just to get to the vehicle without drawing attention of, hey, that lady's covered in blood and looks really beat up.
Hey, and that guy's got a giant egg.
Yeah.
Solaris is very good at makeup, so they're fine.
They just pull their makeup wipes out and wipe the blood off
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, so y'all get back to cars. Y'all get a few looks from people because y'all, in addition to any blood or lack of blood, some of y'all look like y'all been in a fight.
Fight Club.
They're no longer bruised, so
Bill calls out something in Dutch.
What did he say? Because Sasha can understand him.
That's true. Something along the lines of, mind your business, ain't nothing to see here.
Fair enough.
respect.
Alright, so everybody can load back up into the vehicle other than Connor, who's carrying the egg.
Yeah.
It was able to fit. Wait, oh yeah, it's a 5 foot tall. I was like, it's able to fit Spruce and Smoochums.
Connor's just gonna sit on the roof holding the egg.
As long as we don't get into a weird car chase, we should be fine.
That's not tempt fate. Just Heavenly Stride that stuff.
Yeah, Connor will do that.
Back to the hotel with that.
He will keep 2 legend imbued, Heavenly Stride and Walk Unnoticed.
Okay. So he's sprinting unnoticed at the moment.
Basically.
Alright, so you probably get back to the hotel before they do.
Bigger outlet, power strip.
Okay.
But, so yeah, Bill drops y'all off at the hotel. A few guests in the lobby look at y'all funny walking to the hotel. The hotel staff doesn't bat an eye. But you'd gotten the
That's
impression this is the hotel Scions tend to stay at, so.
Yeah.
So the maitre d' is just like, as y'all walk by, just let room service know if you need any extra towels.
I will in very broken Dutch just give a very broken Dutch thank you.
Well, he said it in English because he knows y'all are English.
Yeah,
speakers.
I know. Which is bedankt. So it's probably like bedank.
Donk.
Bedank, yeah.
But don't.
Good grief.
So it's just like bedank.
He got the spirit. He got the spirit.
Wow.
Connor, where are you going to stash this egg when you get back to the hotel? I mean, you can't. It will fit through doorways. Well, actually, I don't know. A 5 foot egg that big around a regular doorway?
Like this.
5 foot tall.
Yeah. Still, that'd be pretty big around.
But it's kind of squished, so it's a little more
Or
oval, short.
It's a posh hotel. Maybe they have big doors.
ADA doors, it'll fit through. But other than that, we're also not in America, so you know.
Would it fit through a window in our room?
No.
Sliding door. Balcony.
Yeah, do we have a balcony?
I'll give you that. That sounds
Okay.
reasonable.
Because he's been over that thing before when we took Bill to go get his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. So he knows where it is.
So you managed to get in there. It's not as warm to the touch now after running at super speed through the streets.
If scissors or anything that can cut.
But can I say that he uses Esoteric of Fire to keep it warm, using his fire purview connection. Just sort of to generate.
Give me an intelligence roll to
around
see if he thought about it before he made the run.
Fair enough.
You know, you've had a lot going on. It's been a day.
It has been a day. Apparently not.
Your dice, man.
They don't like me today.
Like the past 3 rolls have been 4 rolls.
Uh-huh.
On the other hand, he's had the last 2 or 3 sessions. The dice roller has really loved him. So
maybe this is just the 1 out of 4.
Who knows?
You need to refresh the browser, sage your dice, do something.
Save your browser.
So anyway, you get to the hotel room. You realize it's cooled off a little bit. At that point, you can start trying to warm it back up if you wanted to.
Okay, yeah, he will.
You would expect you're using that ability to have warmed the room up some, but it doesn't seem to be. The egg is getting noticeably warmer, but it's like not really giving off heat to the rest of the room.
Yeah, he'll just kind of
Almost like the egg is a sponge, just taking the heat in.
Yeah, he'll just kind of sit there like that.
So y'all arrive at at the hotel room because, like I said, Connor would have gotten there first. And y'all walk in, and he's just sort of hugged up on the egg. Have any of y'all ever seen? It's an older movie now, I guess. The movie Supernova.
Mm-mm.
It's a sci-fi movie where at one point they walk in and this guy is nude and sweaty and hugged up on what turns out to be a ninth dimensional bomb. It's not a great movie.
It's not a great movie.
It had 7 different
Okay.
directors, one of whom committed suicide.
Because of the movie?
Probably not, though it kind of shows. There's these almost like these breaks in the movie where it's like you think it's going one way, and then they just start to do something else, and then they just start to do something else.
Huh.
It maintains just enough potential to be decent that you keep watching it, though. And then, me and my buddies, we stood around in the parking lot for probably as long as the movie was, at least, making fun of it.
One of those things would be a really good candidate for MST3K.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's funny enough for that.
It doesn't have to be funny as long as it's riffable. It can be
Yeah,
made
yeah.
funny.
Between the guy trying to make love to the ninth dimensional bomb.
Oh, they'd be all over that.
Yeah.
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 And it's a recognizable actor that played that guy, too. And I can't remember who it was now.
I'm already on that.
Anyway, that's the image we see when we walk in.
Well, Connor's got his clothes on, though. I mean, it's not...
Thank God.
Yes.
I wouldn't call this a family-friendly show, but we're going to try to keep it PG-13 at worst.
Was it from 2000?
That sounds about long enough ago.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Is this just what's going to be happening for the next however long until that thing? What is that?
Good question.
Sasha give it a once over and try something to see if she knows what it might be.
Oh, sure, roll your occult.
Solaris is just frantically Googling like weird shit online to see if they can see anything that's like a 5 foot
5 foot tall egg.
dwarf egg.
Occult intellect.
Yes.
She's got a concussion, okay? Just leave her alone.
2 successes.
3. General enhancement.
That's true.
All right. Well,
It's an egg.
It's yes, it is an egg. It's an egg that seems to like heat. It's got a stony exterior, so it doesn't really match up with birds or reptiles, necessarily.
It's a crocodile.
Could be something fire related. Some sort of, a phoenix,
salamander?
a salamander, something dragon related. I mean, there's plenty of mythological things it could be.
It's a microwave oven.
Custom kitchen delivery.
But you would get the way he describes. I'm going to assume Connor told you about it.
Mm.
The way he describes it, soaking up the heat and whatnot. Yeah, you figure the heat it needs to be incubated essentially.
Sure.
The fact that it's kind of taking in the heat like it is, tells you it's probably not dead.
You're just gonna hold that for the rest of the night.
Well, I can generate my own heat, so yeah.
Do you think you're so special generating heat?
Can you?
Technically, we all
Most
can. He
human
just
beings, yes.
generates more than usual heat.
I probably can't power a thermonuclear power plant, but
Mm-hmm.
keeps me running around spry on these cooler days in Belgium.
All right, so do all y'all pop pain pills and take a shower?
Oh yeah. And, like, in the middle of that conversation, Sasha's just walking off. You hear the bathroom door close.
Oh, I guess that's being used.
Spruce is sniffing at the egg. Smoochum doesn't seem particularly interested in it.
Switchups is a cold-blooded animal. They're like opposites.
That means Smoochum's, well, 2/3 of Smoochum's is warm-blooded.
Eh.
I just imagine him walking over and laying his head down next to Connor as he's standing there, generating heat.
Probably, honestly, like, okay, this is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my
And
own
he
heating
is.
pad.
It's like, okay. The lion and hippo part's starting to sweat, tying it back up.
It smells like wet hippo and lion in here. What the heck?
Good grief.
Like I says, fine. They're gonna actually though look into like creatures that require obscene amounts of heat and have eggs that are 5 foot and squirt. Things the size of a dwarf, a tall dwarf.
Well, poking on the internet, you find things like scenes from a Godzilla movie where there's a giant egg on the beach.
Looks at the egg. Looks at the one that Connor's holding.
All right, it's not a Mothra egg.
So Mothra's out of the question. Keeps looking.
Mostly you just find kind of rumors and stuff that people have posted about having seen such things.
Okay.
But that's kind of what happens with a lot of the mythological stuff. At least up until recently, when everybody had phones in their pockets that could record things.
I'm gonna bookmark the subreddit that has all the Scion groupies.
Okay.
I don't think I'll ever post in it, but I'll like periodically look into it. Just keep it on my phone and whatever computing devices I have.
Make a throwaway account for it.
Alright, so y'all all get washed up. The next morning, fairly early, Bill shows up again.
Yeah.
Actually, he shows up with Aline. So they've let her out of the hospital. Y'all pretty well decimated the local Fomorian population at this point, so he's not too worried about having her out running around.
Mhm.
Especially since the reason they wanted her is now moot.
Is it? I have to ask Aline. Is it? I'm not a healer, so but is it that hard to cure that?
She's like it. She. Well, I didn't have a chance to examine him. Tuberculosis shouldn't have been, but there is rumor that he was suffering under some kind of geese or curse, if you will. So he may have been cursed or fate bound to die that way. I don't, she's like, I don't know if anyone of the Greco-Roman persuasion, I don't know if any of y'all's parentage ever got sick or, ever died of sickness or poisons. But it's happened up here before.
None that I know of.
The majority of the Pantheon, seems, like most Pantheon, seems to be completely immune to disease until you have one get sick and die. Or they're completely immune to poison until somebody poisons one.
Until they find the god killer poison that works.
That's typically how it goes.
So she's like, I might have been able to help him. I might not have. I mean, I probably wouldn't have, but the Hippocratic Oath is kind of a Greek thing, so.
enough.
Well, it's unfortunate it had to go down like that. I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, he was an evil old man. Don't worry about it.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
Well, he did orchestrate the murder of Jack, so you know.
Yeah.
Think
and-
about that
I mean,
anytime.
Sure. It's just
He had no problem sending people after us either.
Aline goes, Bill told me that he found an email from, where he'd been tipped off that y'all were coming.
yeah. We traced it to a weird Hotmail burner account.
What are y'all in the middle of that is drawing this much attention?
Well, apparently some primordial of the Greeks has decided to come say hi to our town.
Gaia.
Yeah.
Yeah, her.
I thought she helped the Greek gods.
We're not of the pantheon. That maybe we should. We're not technically of the pantheon. We're just the children of. So, I mean, it's a coin flip with when it comes to the kids of.
Well, it sounds like the quicker we get you out of Belgium, the better. No offense.
No, I'm
None taken.
completely.
I would
yeah.
like to go back.
And I believe you had, Sasha. I believe you had already explained to her the problem with your grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That's when she was like, "Hey, go kill this guy, and I'll help you out." And it's like, fine.
Did I say I'd help you out? I mean, I'd think about helping you out.
Sasha reaching for the bees.
My yard really needs mowing. Y'all go take care of that. Then I can help you out.
You give a mouse a cookie.
She pulls out a little leather pouch. Tells you it's full of, medicinal herbs and whatnot. It was a gift to her from her mother.
She just kind of nods. She's like, "I'll make sure to put to good use. Thank you."
He's reloaded.
Had to make a roll for reloading the bees. It's like
Reload
Gibson's a cult.
And you got 3 tens,
I'm
4
just-
tens in that.
I'm just picturing her stepping out into the balcony with the jar. You see bees fly into the jar.
Just randomly a rifle reload noise.
How did she find that many bees in the middle of Antwerp?
As the gods work in mysterious ways.
What happened? Who knows?
The gods willed it.
Yeah.
Or they work in the plot holes, one or the other. That's
mean,
it. They
isn't
work in the
that
plot
just
holes in
both,
reality.
Yeah.
But anyway, she tells you, good luck with your, I hope this helps your grandparents.
I'll let you know what the outcome of it, one way or the other.
And let's see. Y'all had given Jack's spear to Bill, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So he could get back to the family. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were trying to figure out if we knew the sister.
And no, I think you'd figured out that you have not met the sister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'd bet many redheads, but not that redhead.
Yeah.
Anything's mildly racist that we're even asking like this.
Redheads are not a race. They are a mutation. Mutants.
That means
That
Duba's
doesn't make it
part-
better.
That means
Be right
Duba's
back,
part
phone.
mutant.
Mm.
What was that, Jaden?
So Duba's part mutant.
Well, yes, red hair is a mutation of the genes that cause blonde hair.
You do have some red hair in your beard, love. Too late.
He looks so offended, like, don't call me a mutie.
Look, I have about 4 different colors in here. There's red, brown, blonde, and even black. I don't have one singular color in my beard.
You're a
Which is
calico.
funny because it's not his hair on the head is flush one color, but
Yeah.
the beard and stash is just all different colors.
I've got a buddy that's redheaded that, his beard and his hair is red, but they're different shades of red.
Interesting.
Of course, these days there's some gray worked into both of them too. But All right, so you've got the rest of the day to figure out how you're going to get the big egg home.
Yeah, fun times.
Well, if all else fails, I can just run, but that'll take a while.
Yeah, even at your speed, running across the Atlantic.
I'll take a few days.
You could always stow. I mean, a ship will also take a few days, but if you don't want to run, you can stow away on a ship.
Walk unnoticed right into a ship going to America.
Basically.
Either that or walk unnoticed into the cargo hold of the airplane.
Just make sure it's one with a pressurized cargo.
Yeah.
Otherwise, crack goes your egg.
Well, it wouldn't do Connor any good to be in an unpressurized cargo bay either.
Yeah.
All right. Is there
How are
anything
you
else y'all
going-
want to do in Belgium before we get y'all back to Nebraska?
Just
We went shopping, right?
get a few.
I
I think you'd
knickknacks
gone
here and
souvenir
there.
shopping the day before.
Did a little bit, yeah.
I'd get a few knickknacks here and there. Mostly at the airport gift shops, though.
They're so expensive, though.
They are, but it's fine.
So expensive.
Yeah, Connor mostly will probably be like on his phone on the Wi-Fi, like looking at like, okay, what planes have a pressurized cargo hold?
Yeah, and
Like
you
what
find a
models?
list.
Yeah. And while there, he's just like sitting down, egg in lap, just keeping it warm, just.
I have to picture when you get up. It's just it's like a big sucking sound, like getting up from your back off of a seat.
All right. So most of you are able to just buy tickets back home.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Connor has to go through all the arranging to ship this thing. And I'm picturing him putting it in a wooden crate with one of his clones to keep it warm. Oh, this is going to suck.
Yeah.
But, initiate a visual and it shouldn't be a problem.
Mm-hmm. That's basically the plan.
All right, so you get back home. No major incidents there. Now, I think last session, Connor, you had tried to call home. I'm thinking
Actually,
somebody
no.
had tried to call your guys, or maybe you were thinking about it and then didn't.
Yeah, I think we're thinking about it, but we ended up like everything started happening. Like, yeah, stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, you arrive back in Olympus, Nebraska.
Eventually.
You got those of you that are flying.
Mm-hmm.
You fly back to the U.S. one of the main airports and take us. You have to change flights to get into Olympus proper. The egg, you wind up renting a U-Haul. So there is a Connor basically driving it cross country.
Yeah.
Let's see who gets to their apartment first. You arrive at night.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start with Sasha.
Oh no. I mean, yay.
As you're going, you go to your apartment. As you're walking to your door, there are two men standing on either side of it. And
If they haven't noticed her yet, she's gonna activate walk unnoticed.
okay, you walk up. They're both standing there, I mean, clearly on kind of guard duty. They've got kind of a security guard uniform look to them.
Does she recognize him?
No. You're pretty sure it's not any of Connor's people. Not that you necessarily know all of his, but you've seen several of them around, so.
Yeah. Debating if she would just go around and try and get him from the outside. She'll go back like around the corner again and act like she's just coming around the corner. Can I help you?
One of the men looks at you. No, we're fine.
Good, then you can explain what you're doing outside of my apartment.
Oh! He looks over his buddy. His buddy pulls out his phone. Looks at you, looks at his phone. Oh, I believe that's her.
Smoochum's walking up behind, like...
They don't react like most people react to Smoochums. I mean, they don't look like they want to get any closer to him, but they're not too freaked out by him. The man that put his phone up pulls out a business card and hands it to you. We work for a security company, ma'am, the Varangian Guard. There has been...
Did you say Ferengian?
I was like, the Ferengis?
the Varangian.
Varengian. Okay.
How much latinum is this costing us?
I heard Ferengian. I'm like, wait.
Kind of like the Varangian band that's the other Scions in town.
Okay. Kind of sus, but okay.
There's been some unpleasantness since you and your band have been out of town. I'm sure you're aware that Mr. Hughes had contracted with, or made some sort of arrangements with, what were your flunkies calling themselves, Connor? Or had they really even come up with a name? Other than just the company name, their old company name.
They were just going with that for the moment.
But some of them are missing. The ones that didn't turn up dead.
And nobody thought to call our band. No one thought to call Connor. You just decided to wait out in front of my door or other people's apartment doors.
Well, we were looking after everyone. We have some men looking after your grandparents.
Yes, that was also arranged before we left. But as far as the band,
yes, with your friends' previous security team.
Still, no one, as far as I'm aware, has contacted the band or Connor. There's a reason for that?
I don't know about that, ma'am. I was just assigned here. We have some watching. He rattles off Telarius's or whatever Telarius's apartments are called.
Casa del Telarius.
Me suddenly wondering how much chaos has been caused with him trying to find where Connor lives.
They're like, he's fine.
They're just waiting at the dojo.
Ooh, no, that does bring up a good point. Yeah, she would have thought of that because grandparents. Is someone watching Connor's grandfather?
I believe someone was assigned to the dojo at least during business hours. He was pretty adamant about not having anybody around his house.
Fantastic. She takes a picture of the card, sends it to the group message, and hey, anyone else got room service waiting for him?
Would Connor have made it back by then?
A
'Cause
Connor
have
could
to be.
have.
It would have to be Connor Prime driving the U-Haul, because the other ones disappear after X amount of days.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Then yeah, you're probably some distance off.
Although honestly, he could probably run faster than the U-Haul.
Could he do that non-stop though?
If
Well, it
he
wouldn't
activates
matter, but-
Vigil.
If he activates a Vigil on the egg and keeps in his peripheral as he's running down the interstate.
Holds it out in front of him while he's running. Hope he doesn't trip at
That's also
subsonic
true.
speeds.
Oh God, Scully, why?
Yeah, he
Just like do that for like a day.
he'd
It
be driving
sucks.
back.
But it wouldn't suck as bad as going up that ladder and back down it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yes, any of y'all as you get home,
Connor on the road. Okay, I'm at a motel. The fuck?
Shrug emoji.
It's hilarious. Walks, like, completely ignores them and walks into their apartment building.
Hilarious is like, it's the press.
yeah, they're in the lobby because your apartments don't let people up.
They're just going up, just nothing. They don't pay them any mind unless they stop them.
Clarissa's apartment don't let people up. Connor just goes, window!
No, they don't
So
bother
once
you as
they-
you walk through the as you walk
Yeah.
through the. They, if you're paying attention, you notice them paying attention to you.
It's
Like maybe
the-
they've become familiar with people that come and go, and you're somebody new, and then it's that guy.
Okay. Yeah, so then what Hilarious will probably do is like kind of just talk everybody in the room and then just go to their if they see the security people make eye contact with them, that's weird, but they're just gonna go.
All right. Jaden, you've got a couple of guys outside your apartment.
Yeah, Jaden will let Smoochums walk. Spruce walk in front of her as they're walking.
Was we trading pets? What up?
Just every now and then to confuse people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they realize who you are the second they see the dog. And you have a similar encounter, Sasha. They identify themselves, they give you the business card, they explain what's happened.
She'll tell Connor. Apparently, your peoples either are dead or cannot be found.
Except for the two that you took with you to Europe, of course.
Yeah. To which he responds back, lovely.
What do and Hilarious will get in the group text finally because they're just single-mindedly okay, get to the apartment, and then they
Oh.
finally get to the apartment and read everything, and they're like, oh, what do these guys look like?
Jaden would take a picture of one of them, send it to Hilarious,
Same
and then look at
uniforms.
them. Would be like, okay, you can go now. And then walk into her apartment. Look.
Well, remember, are you sure that the door shuts? And you can kind of hear some muffled talking. So it's like they're debating. Well, do we leave? I mean, she asked. What's the legal thing here? Robert, when you get home, there's two guys sitting on your front porch.
Hello, gentlemen. I see you caught me as soon as I got home. How can I help you today?
Like with the other two, they identify themselves. They hand you the business card.
They're here about your truck's extended warranty.
They don't like how you keep hanging up on them when they call.
I mean, that would be about right.
But but they tell you, they're planning to stay out of your way and stuff. They'd just been assigned to keep an eye on the property while you were gone.
I mean, he thanks them. Like, I appreciate it.
Of course. So.
Clara sits at the picture and is like, "Oh, yeah, there's a couple outside in the lobby at my apartment building. I thought they looked weird. They were looking at me. Like, whatever."
All right. So the next morning rolls around. Connor, are you going to stay with the egg, or are you going to let your men finish driving it back?
He's gonna make a clone to stay with the egg, and then he's gonna let his men keep driving it back,
Okay.
and then he'll sprint back to the city.
All right. So you get back to the city. We'll say around midday. What are the rest of you doing for the first half of the next day?
Mostly calling mom. Just be like, "Hi, Mom. How are you doing? Good."
Oh, she's delighted to hear from you. She just wants to know, how was Italy?
Italy was beautiful. Rolling hills, the weird road that curves around, Driving's a pain in the ass, but, looking
Roundabouts
at it
here. Those
is
are called roundabouts.
yeah. Driving it is beautiful, but or driving it is a pain in the ass, but taking a picture of it and they'll send a picture at the same time. It's gorgeous. There's a chimera way in the background.
Coming over the hill. At least in the short term, your mother doesn't seem to have noticed that.
Sure. We ended up just going from there to Belgium. That's why it took a little longer.
Ooh, how are the waffles?
Underwhelming.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It's
So,
just a waffle.
About all I know
Can't
about
really-
Belgium.
Yeah, I got you a few things. I'll send them over at some point.
Don't
Yeah,
send
this
them
is-
over. Bring them over.
Okay, fine.
Visit your mother. She misses you.
Silence.
But did everything go well? There wasn't too much excitement, I hope.
I've got a lot of content.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Mildly terrified for how it's gonna go, but should be good. They start concepting stuff and getting stuff out. The fight with the large Fomorian is gonna be like a Dark Souls with the Dark Souls team with the little health bar on the bottom.
I feel bad about killing him, but let's give him a health bar.
We'll just edit out the bits on either end where you see him as a little old man. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's never like a killing blow either. It's just a battle between superpowered beings.
Well, there's limits to what YouTube would let you show.
Exactly. I'm not gonna just show an arrow going through the backwards eye. Showing the head go and the eye coming out, cool. An arrow going through it, not so much.
Well, you're also you were only getting glimpses of it as you'd step out to fire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Sasha would go check on her grandparents.
Check on her grandparents. Take the items probably to the Kodometry, see if it responds to her at all.
It don't know you.
I know, but she's gonna try. Just at the bottom of the tree with the two items and a bag of peaches. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
The Kadama seems to be shy.
Just leaves the bag of peaches there. Fine.
You just leave it where the offerings go.
Pretty much like, leave him here. And then goes and checks up on her grandparents.
I don't know if Kadamas be as into peaches as Monkey is.
She figures it's at least some kind of offering.
But yeah, you go when you check on the grandparents. There's 2 of the guards there. You get the same rigmarole from your apartment, as they go to identify themselves and whip out the card. But you've already got one, so.
She pulls out her card. You guys are really bad at communication, aren't you?
He just kind of shrugs. I've been here all night, so. The doctor tell you there hasn't been any changes. We can get them. We can get them up to do stuff. We can get them to eat, but but it's like they're just kind of vacant, not there.
See about fixing that within the next day or so. Just waiting on people.
Robert, what are you doing?
Well, that is a good question. Knowing Robert, let's see. We never did we at some point discuss about him, like, looking into setting up a little thing for crafters?
You had been looking around
Where
at
you
properties, yes. And I can't remember if you had decided to rent a place or just buy a little land and build your own.
I think we went with he was going to just buy a plot of land and build his own.
Okay.
He'd probably go and work on that. Hopefully,
Okay.
he'd check his mail to see if he at least got the work permit before he does that.
Yes, the permit has come in.
So
you have permission to build on it. You'll just have to do it in stages to have inspectors come in and do all the appropriate stuff. But you're a contractor, you know how to handle that.
Oh yeah, he'd take the steps. He'd be on the phone with one of the inspectors, be like, "Yeah, if you can come around here in about the next hour or so, that'd be great." And while he does so, he just kind of goes ahead and does the first part of the building phase.
You start laying the foundations or whatever. Let's see. Jaden, what do you do when you get back in town? Or that next day, once the sun's up?
Call her parents.
Okay.
Vincent! Stop knocking shit on the floor!
But mother, I'm a cat.
Probably talk with them for a while, tell her how going to Italy and Belgium went. Then promise to go see them next weekend.
Oh, well, they're glad to hear that. Did you do anything exciting? I killed a guy. With an arrow.
In the eye.
That was in the back of his head.
That's great, sweetie.
But the back of his head was spun around, so it was the front now. So I don't know.
I mean,
and like I said, midday or so, Connor gets back to town.
Yeah.
What, you run from Florida?
Well, I was driving.
Okay.
Now there's just a copy of me there, and then I ran back because apparently nonsense happened while I was gone.
My parents are okay. I haven't checked on anybody else's yet.
Alright, I'm gonna go check on Gramps, and then I guess I need to go take Sasha to the tree to figure out what's going on.
I think she's might be there. I don't know.
Connor's
Just
gonna
at the tree, throwing peaches at it, like, come on, work!
he's gonna go check on his grandpa.
Yeah, you find him at the dojo. There's a couple of the Varangian guard outside. Though specifically, they are not, leaning up against the building,
Mm-hmm.
but they are on the sidewalk outside the building.
He pauses next to him and goes, "So I'm assuming you're the security company the rest of my band has informed me about?"
Yes, Mr. Hughes, I assume. Whips out a business card.
Yes. Who hired you?
The company is owned by a shoot. What was her last name? Basically, he identifies Penelope, whatever her last name was.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Ford.
Let's see.
I don't know if that's right.
So either something went down bad enough that she got spooked, or she's doing this as a "you owe me a favor" ploy.
You could go either way.
Right.
But basically, Penelope and Kim Faust are like the co-owners of the company.
Right.
They don't do the day-to-day managing of it, but
He looks at the card and just, I really hope this isn't going to be a "you owe me one" ploy, but whatever.
when you turn to go in the door, you can see your grandfather's in there teaching somebody, but you can see he's already kind of keeping an eye. He's already spotted you through the big front window, and he was keeping an eye on you while you interacted with the guard. As you walk in, he signals somebody else to come over and take over the class, and he walks up to you.
Hey, Gramps.
I see you're back in one piece, at least.
Well, yeah.
Did you find what you're looking for?
I believe so. I need to go take Sasha over to the Kadama just to make sure, but we ended up having to go toe-to-toe with a child of one of the Titans, so...
Kind of the other side of the coin from you, huh?
Basically.
Heck, what did I miss?
None yet.
Okay.
So, I see the other band has hired a security team for everybody.
Yeah, something happened to your fellas. Details are a little sparse. I know there were a couple of bodies found. And then some of them just seem to be missing.
Right. Well, this might just be the past talking, but I get a feeling this is going to be a "you owe me one" ploy. Like, hey, look what we did while you were gone.
I suppose. Though, as far as I know, they never actually had to do anything. Nobody bothered me while you were gone. And, one of the students works at the hospital, so I know nothing hinky has gone down there around your little friends, grandparents or anything.
Right. Has Kim tried anything while I was gone?
No, as far as I know, he's after his initial tour visiting all the other dojos, yeah, he hasn't really done anything to us. There was some sort of encroachment in the north part of the city.
Encroachment of what?
Stories of I don't know, some kind of animals or something. I think the other band took care of it.
Well, we were warned that Gaia has taken an interest in the city.
I think you'd mentioned that to him before y'all left.
Yeah. So that might be part of it. I don't
Could
know
be.
what she wants. Not exactly my purview, is it? Right. Also, there's going to be a new addition to the chaos in about a day and a half, 2 days, depending on how fast they drive.
You hired some more people?
No, we found he'll sort of like pull his grandfather over to his office. I found something while we were there.
In Italy?
Belgium, but yeah. um, a very, very large egg.
An egg of what?
Something that's absorbing a lot of heat.
So you don't know what it is, but you brought it home.
Yeah.
He just kind of rolls his
tracks.
eyes.
This tracks for Connor.
He doesn't
Yeah, I
seem
was gonna say-
surprised, but he just kind of rolls his eyes.
I mean, it's in Connor like mimes, like few inches short of the top of his head. It's about yay high, give or take.
Oh, well, I'm sure that won't turn out to be a snake big enough to eat you or anything.
Well, considering we found it in the middle of a cave of Titan spawn, I figured it's better to not be there.
So do these Titan spawn hatch out of eggs?
Well, we found one wearing the skin of another Scion, so
Like a coat or like a pod person?
pod person.
Don't bring it here. I don't want any of my students getting eaten.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go check on the Kodama, see if Sasha's ready to see what's up.
All right. You just got to pat you on the shoulder. I'll expect you to be back teaching class tomorrow morning. Take the rest of the day off.
Yeah. Thanks, Gramps.
Without pay.
Love you too, Gramps. Then he'll text Sasha. Meet me at the tree.
I've been here for the last 2 hours.
Be right there. Heavenly Strike.
She's been sitting there staring at the peaches. Anytime she looks away and looks back, she's pretty sure there's one less.
Connor shows up
They're,
in like
they're taunting me.
Connor shows up in like a few minutes. Oh, okay. He'll look up at the tree. I'm surprised they're not out.
You see the Kodama peek out as you say that.
Oh, hey, there you are.
He comes on down.
Well, we've got the stuff you said we needed.
Oh, excellent.
Pulls it out, hands it to the Kodama.
She's kind of bonded to me.
Oh.
So you can trust her.
Turns his head, spits out a peach pit.
Yeah, so yeah, you can trust her. You actually might really like her. She's really intellectual. Very smart.
I'll wow them with my mental prowess later. The matter at hand?
Return tomorrow. Turns around and sinks back up into his tree.
They must really want to get started on that.
they really want to get started on it. I'm sure.
Well, considering it's gonna take the medicine of 2 separate goddesses to figure it out, it might take a little bit.
Y'all can still see it sitting up in the tree branch.
With the medicine?
It pops the cork on the one vial. It opens the bag. Dumps both containers into its mouth.
I'm gonna go before I try to kill your tree.
I'm going to go to Lowe's and buy an axe. I'll be right back.
Oh, no, full-on
Buy a
chainsaw.
flamethrower.
It comes back like 2 chainsaw arms.
Okay.
Just looks up at the Kodama like,
It looks at you, looks for all the world like it's got mouthwash. Just swooshing around.
I'll be back here tomorrow at this time exactly.
She stands there and stares at the tree.
Walks off.
So a little later in the day, y'all all get a text from Samuel. Hey, are we doing the celebratory thing at the Rubicon tonight? I know we got in late last night.
Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say, after she left, Connor was gonna look up the trees like, did you really have to eat those?
In front of her.
it just gives you it's still sloshing stuff around in its mouth. It just gives you a confused look, like, what were you expecting? Clearly, this is how this is done. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Robert would respond to Samuel. Yeah, we can just stop by for a drink, have a good time.
And the pizza pan full of nachos.
The ubiquitous plate of nachos.
So y'all walk in, assuming y'all all go. Y'all walk in that night. Late enough that the normal crowd is still mostly there, but it's that close to that changeover.
Magic hour.
Antonio notices you when you walk in. He kind of gives you a wave. Kathy comes over to you. Well, hey, how'd it go in Italy?
We live.
Yeah, we live.
We lived.
Did you find what you needed, though? Or find who you needed? Because y'all were...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Anthony had sent you the contact information.
What's been going on here?
So, there's been the whole thing going on.
No one called us. No one sent us a Facebook message. No one texted us. I mean, I know we were out of country, but
So, well, there were some werewolves up north, but the other band took care of them. I mean, it was a thing, but it seemed to be handled. We knew y'all were busy.
Yeah. Fighting a child of a titan.
Oh, well, that's pretty much the job, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Did that happen in Italy, or did that happen in Belgium?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
it's good to be home.
Were the band in Antwerp able to help you? She's taking orders while y'all having this conversation.
More or less.
Yes, we came to mutually beneficial arrangements.
Got the medicine, and then we depopulated the Fomori in the area.
Oh, that's good to hear. Well, assuming they were causing trouble. I mean, you do occasionally have populations that don't, but
Well, apparently us showing up was tantamount to full-scale war, since they were apparently tipped off we were coming.
well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Somebody knew. Somebody knew from when we were still here.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Concerning.
weird.
Mm-hmm. Considering we got attacked by a chimera and everything when we were in Italy.
That's one of those mushed together animals, right?
One of the grandchildren of Gaia.
Ah,
Yes.
Since we figured that, oh, hey. So, yeah. Got that, a whole bunch of centaurs. They were apparently told to attack us because we would bring calamity on the area.
well, that just sounds lovely.
Yeah.
I'd like to go see Europe someday. Doubt I'll ever get around to it though.
Send a picture to her from of the nice shot of the hills that Tiberius got.
Oh yeah, it is pretty.
Still the chimera in the back about to come at.
You see her embiggening.
Mm.
Connor, look over. Is that the shot you got of the chimera charging us?
Yes.
Ah. The one I proceeded to punt back over the hill.
I'm a little hazy about the details. I kind of went blank and then got up and they were done.
You did get your head hit pretty good, that one.
Yeah.
It was the
I'm
pygmies.
usually-
The pygmies beat him up.
Damn pygmies.
They thought he looked like a swan.
They're very graceful.
Mm. See, if I remember my mythology right, pygmies and swans just.
It's on site.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and I wonder where that myth came from. But
Mm.
I mean, it's got to be true.
I mean,
It's the premise of the
centaurs at
game.
least make sense to me.
Yeah.
They were supposed to live on the steppe, and the steppe is full of people that use horses. So I can see how that kind of worked.
Yeah.
But anyway, she goes and fetches your food. As soon as he gets a chance to, Antony comes over. Was the fellow I directed you to able to help?
Yes. In a manner of speaking.
Have you been in contact with that group since we arrived or left?
No, I mean I made the arrangements for them to meet you, and that was.
Well,
I'm not exactly Jack's favorite person.
Somebody tipped off the local Fomorian population we were going to be there while we were still here. And that was apparently tantamount to full-scale war when we arrived.
Well, sure,
Let's
if the Fomorians
say-
thought an extra band was coming in to help, that might have escalated. But
Let's
how would they have known
say,
before you left, though? I didn't know exactly where they were before you left.
They apparently got tipped off by somebody. Hired another Scion, who then proceeded to kill Jack and wear his skin.
Not like a coat.
And he looks pretty disturbed. Glances over at Kathy.
Do you happen to know Jack's sister?
We've met.
They'll be looking. The band from there will be looking for her.
I doubt that.
They're returning Jack's spear.
They had more family in Ireland. That
They
I'm
were
sure,
looking for
that I'm
someone
sure
else.
his band knew.
Okay. I thought they said that she had moved away.
She
and that
had
she
when
was
y'all
in
specifically
America.
mentioned her, but Bill had
Ah.
mentioned there was other family. He wasn't going to give it to the sister because she was kind of indisposed or whatever.
Yeah.
But he'd take it back to Ireland and
Okay.
give it back to the rest of the family.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
Suffice it to say that the Fomorian population has greatly decreased.
Yeah, it's probably a
There.
good thing then.
Hmm. Especially considering they're being led by a child of the Titans.
Oh yeah, one of Balor's kids, from what I hear.
Yeah. He's a fine mist.
Oh, good. He'd been wandering around a while.
Not really, but
And then he kind of excused himself. You see him go over and talk to Kathy. She kind of tenses up as he starts talking, and then she slips off. She, seems upset. She slips off to the back.
I thought they said she wasn't related to her.
People lie sometimes. That is a thing people do.
No, but that just seems silly to lie about.
Well, she doesn't have to be
I
a
need
sister to be
batteries.
upset that somebody died. Maybe she knows the sister.
Maybe they had a fling.
Connor is sitting in the chair, mentally, keeping an eye on the egg from the clone.
So what do we do? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll definitely clock that and just be like, "Is everything all right?"
I need nachos. I'm very hungry.
You're incubating, so yes, you are very hungry.
One of the other serving people brings you your nachos over. You'd already you'd already given Kathy the order, and she'd put it in. So
Connor proceeds to dig in like a man possessed.
Do we want to look into what's been going on with the change in security and all that? What's happened in our absence?
Well,
Julie,
apparently they're a company put together and co-owned by Penelope and Kim.
somehow not surprised.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is
not
my
either,
surprise.
considering the name. Part of me is thinking this might be a subtle way of going, hey, look what we did better than you while you were gone. Protected your stuff. You owe us, etc., etc., etc.
Maybe they were just trying to be neighborly. Not
that turns
everyone is a total dick.
If that turns out to be the case, I'll be very pleasantly surprised. I will say that. I am prepping for the ass hattery, but that has, been my life.
So about the time Sasha goes, not everybody's a dick, Chad walks in.
Except for him. At
Well,
least
he's not everybody. He's a one body.
No,
He walks in, got a lady under each arm.
About say, Sasha goes, and everybody's a dick. Connor says what he was saying, looks back at Chad's like, no, but he could probably stand to lose his.
Jesus.
So vicious, and Chad's never done anything to you. And hey, he sees all y'all, he gives y'all kind of a hey, and then he goes over, sits down, orders some food. He says something to the waitress that comes up to him. She kind of looks around. That kind of know.
Blanked on her name.
Kathy?
Has she come back yet? Has Kathy come back yet?
No, it's been a couple minutes.
Should we check on Kathy?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Probably all don't need to go check on Kathy.
Yeah, say not. Okay, which one of us is the most sympathetic?
Looks
In character
hilarious.
asking it.
Connor just like mid-bite from a chip points at Hilarious.
Okay. They get
I
up
can-
and just kind of like dust themselves off and
Yeah,
All right.
they're like, okay. Connor looks like, what? This is what you're best at.
I could, if you need backup, but
think I'll be okay. I'll yell if I need something.
We all know
Okay.
I am absolute
just-
pants in, but
5 minutes later, Talarius comes smashing through the wall.
I asked her if she was okay.
All right, Talarius. So you head back down the that little side hallway, like the restrooms are in.
Mhm.
You know, they're down there and some other stuff. I think it leads to a back door.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do I see her?
as you walk down, one of the doors you've never seen open is slightly ajar. You just always assumed it was a supply closet or something.
I'm gonna be quieter, not stealthy, but I'm gonna be quieter as I kind of walk and kind of like put my ear to it.
You hear a little bit of crying and somebody kind of repeating over and over again that they're sorry.
This is in English.
Yes.
Hilarious will look at them, or kind of slowly open.
It opens to the top of a stairwell.
Okay, and no figure up the stairwell.
No. It's think about it like basement stairs, not like a really.
Oh, okay, it's going down.
Yeah, it's going down into like a basement.
Okay. And yeah, Hilarious will slowly go down. Like, hello.
You start down. You say hello. You hear you hear movement.
It's okay.
Customers aren't allowed down here. You recognize it as Kathy's voice now.
Kathy.
She starts rushing over about the time your head clears the floor. You see her walking towards you. You see what looks like a I guess a stone slab
Mm-hmm.
with a kind of glass dome across the top of it, and a woman laying inside it.
Ah.
She is the spitting image of Kathy.
Uh-huh.
But she is standing there, or laying there, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
in
Kind of like
Almost-
laid in state.
almost, seems to be in what looks like not quite modern tactical gear,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, 10, 15 years out of date, maybe. And where, like, if you're laying in state, your arms would be crossed.
Right.
Hers are positioned like they're holding a spear.
Oh
Does the
no!
spear look familiar?
The spear looks identical to the one Jack had.
Sure.
they were part of a set, from what Bill said.
Yep.
Oh no!
I'm gonna mentally text the group chat with mind and a bomb.
Text back. Does that mean help?
Does this Kathy, who is that is up, seem to be coming at me aggressively?
Not like with murder in her eyes, but she's coming at you, yelling, "Get out!" And yelling at this point. You hear her out in the rest of you hear her out in the.
That's
And
just
Anthony jerks around, then kind of scowls, looks over at your table and realizes somebody's missing and heads down the hallway.
immediately us.
Well, Chad didn't come
Been
to know
in
about it.
town for one day.
And everybody else in there is the normal folks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, not that normal folks can't be nosy, but
We can talk about this. You don't have to yell. We can talk about this.
Hilarious is gonna come flying through the wall.
Mm.
She stops at the base of the stairs and just starts pointing at her. You need to get out of here. And then Anthony comes in from the top.
Looks back at Anthony. Looks at the clone question mark.
Anthony just comes straight down the stairs at full speed.
Oh,
just sort of moves you out of the way.
moves me out of the way. Yeah.
Not. He doesn't slam you up against the wall, but he's not like super gentle either.
Sure. I'm gonna keep eye contact with her as I slowly make my way back up.
And he's kind of consoling her, and once he's kind of gotten down to her, he does look at you and kind of gestures, get upstairs.
I'll get back up. The party's like right there by the door.
No, I don't think any of us moved.
Connor is still eating nachos.
That's gonna be messed up. I better eat while I can.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never be able to come back here.
We're not kicked out.
It's everything. There was yelling.
Yeah, there was yelling. Yes,
She
there
didn't take
was.
being consoled well.
They're going to pay the tab and just get out. There was yelling, and they walk.
She gets up, follows. Do you need consoled as well? What's going on?
They are outside.
And she's following.
Yeah, that's fine. I remember when we were like debating about our favorite waitress.
Yeah.
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 And there's a spear down there that looks remarkably similar to Jack's.
Okay, there's a spear. They made you leave because of a spear.
And the body who had it.
The
was
what?
like- Yeah.
Now, Hilarious ran outside and Sasha followed. The rest of y'all are still at the table at this point, right? Okay. Anthony
Connor-
walks back into the room and starts heading towards y'all.
Okay.
No, back outside.
What? Okay. There's a body.
Cassie looked like the spear like that laid in a like a dome situation, like a Sleeping Beauty.
Would Sasha have any kind of reference for this?
Well, you know what Sleeping Beauty is, so yeah.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, she knows what Sleeping Beauty is, but like people being laid in like.
And actually, I think it was
Coffin-
I think it
well,
may have been
that's
Snow
coffins.
White that was
Snow
able
White.
in the
Sure.
Hilarious, maybe a little shooken.
Well,
Oh, yeah, he shook.
sure.
They shook it.
I mean, it could be some kind of body preservation thing, or it could be
It's not a pyramid.
some weird tomb, or
A
I
similar.
mean, there's a lot of things that could be based off that little bit of information.
Looked just like Kathy.
Yeah, precisely like her. Like identical twins look alike.
Seeing Teleria Shugeth, hand on shoulder, kind of like pep. I mean, I've got nothing, honestly. Why can't we just have a normal town with normal problems, not werewolves and people?
Because we're abnormal.
Are we? Are we really?
You just stopped a Fomorian with a jar of bees.
Okay, that's a fair point, but still.
Look, jars are normal, bees are normal. I don't know what you're getting at.
Jars, perfectly normal. Bees, perfectly normal. Maybe he was allergic.
I'm just imagining just like glass shards and just like bee stingers directly into the eye.
Perfectly normal method of death. He was allergic. Like, I mean, I get that, but man, life was uneventful until about a couple months ago. Never mind. Still pap. Should we go back
She
there?
looked extremely offended.
Well, one,
And she
You-
was sobbing and said, "I'm sorry," over and over.
I doubt they're mad at you.
I don't think they're mad at me.
If anything,
Just took in a little bit more grief than I wanted to.
side hug. It, that's also our life now, I think.
We really should. What did the Kodama say for your grandparents?
Like, look of murder on face. The damn thing took it and is, like, putting it in its mouth like mouthwash and shaking it around and said, "Come back tomorrow."
Haven't you ever made a cake? That's like the batter.
I've been around the world. Coming back tomorrow.
Is the least of your problems.
If that Kodama doesn't figure it out, I'm going to be the most of its problems. I'm going to chop down that damn tree, be it Connor's or whoever's.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I will build the bridge out of that tree.
Just trust that we will. It's something that they're working on. It's just the batter making a cake. You gotta make the recovery cake by mixing the ingredients together.
Very impatient. Come on,
No,
you're not just walking out of the celebration. It's not allowed.
All right, so inside, Antony has walked up to the table. Where did they go?
Probably outside. He looked pretty upset. They looked pretty upset.
They kind of left the money to pay the tab, and they said that they were.
Yeah, I don't think they were dining and dashing. Your buddy there's a little nosy.
We were
What?
just kind of worried when she never came back.
We care about the tall,
intent-
sexy.
And about that time, the two of them walked back in.
Say Connor's like the intent was, considering the news seemed to upset her. They're the best at being empathetic, so maybe offer a few consoling words.
Yeah. So Sasha and Telerius walk back up, and he just locks eyes with Telerius.
And Sasha squares up and like at their side, like, "What? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Huh?
Spear out of nowhere, because everybody gets speared.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess not a gladius.
Ladies, you're right.
Yeah, that's right. That was their general purpose sword.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's not really paying attention to Sasha. He locks eyes with Telerius.
Locks eyes back.
I'm gonna need you to not go spreading around what you might have seen down there.
You
That's
say in the middle of an
not-
open floor.
Well, he's not saying it very loudly. Though as you glance around, there's a few people that are really paying attention. There's something is clearly going on here.
Not my intention, but you're also doing this in front of everyone in your tavern.
You're right. Let's step back to the office.
Can I bring them? I feel wildly uncomfortable with that situation.
It'll be a little crowded, but sure.
Come on, guys.
Connor brings the nachos.
It's the big plate of
Pizza tray.
nachos.
Yeah, I mean the nachos are the sixth bandmate.
Hilarious is stress eating them.
It's partly why he brought them. He's just holding it, just nachos.
Maitre d' nachos, orders.
So this time y'all walk back behind the bar
Mm-hmm.
through the kitchen area and to his office.
Mhm.
It's not a real large office, but you can all kind of cram it. There are not enough seats for everybody.
Connor's fine with that.
I'm sure you have questions.
I'm just here with the nachos.
It's look. Stuff isn't my. It isn't necessarily my business, but
No,
I
no, just-
care. We like we said, like Sasha said, we care about. Well, I guess he didn't say it out loud. Sasha was saying outside. We care about what goes on here and the people that are here and the stuff that happens. Whether we like it or not, we're still.
And Talarius is the least likely of us to just totally offend somebody, so... Do you think Connor would have been good at offering empathy, at least in this situation?
He looks up from the nachos, just one brow raised.
Looks up like, oh,
Out of the band, Talarius is the most empathetic.
Oh, yeah. Hands down. Goes back to nachos.
I suppose that's fair. But
And
still,
you act
he's
like we're gossips.
still there poking around. He's like, it's not that I think you're going to run around and tell everybody, though they do have a awful big social media presence.
you gotta have a day job.
But I don't think Talarius would go and put it all out on social media.
Talarius has tact, the rest of us don't.
Well,
They
I'm
also-
going to need the rest of y'all to keep this to yourselves as well, then. As most of you are still sitting here not having a clue what actually happened.
Yeah, it's like Jane be like, I don't even know what we're talking about.
Well,
I'm
you
just
can
here
tell
as
them.
moral
I'm not gonna
support with
do anything.
nachos.
You can tell them.
What was that, hilarious?
So like, since they're all like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm motioning to Anthony. Like, you can tell them.
We have someone staying in our basement. Someone that looks remarkably like Kathy.
Is this going to cause any harm to the city?
No, quite the opposite.
Then it's not our business. Why would we interfere if it's not going to cause harm?
That's fair, I guess. It's something we've been in charge of keeping for a while, so I'm just a little sensitive
Bitch
about it.
Makes sense.
Uh,
I'm the
Kathy-
same way with some of my stuff.
Kathy had never met Jack, but she remembers him. So she was
Remembers.
a bit upset about hearing about him, about what happened to him.
Has never met him but remembers him
Mm-hmm.
as Sasha's head and like Sasha gears going. Memories
Sasha, the stopped working.
memories like that are not hers dwell within her.
They're sort of hers.
That sounds a lot like my doppelgangers.
Not exactly. No. If your doppelgangers are what I think they are, they pop fairly easily. Wait, what you say
Well-
pop? They're fairly easily disposed of.
They pop pretty quick with a good smack, but they're me, but not me, but have all of my memories.
Yeah, Kathy's a little different from that. She couldn't be harmed if she wanted to be.
Weird flex, but okay.
What, she's just invulnerable to damage?
Pretty much. I mean, stuff will hurt. I mean,
But it won't take her out.
You should hear her when she stubs a toe or something. The mouth on that one.
But if someone were to say come in with like a big ass hammer or like a flaming axe or something.
Right, it would hurt, but she'd get right back up.
Huh.
Anybody that's got the occult skill, give me a roll.
Yeah, we're doing that. An occult intellect?
Yes. Do you have any
am
specialties?
I am trained in occult.
Her specialty is death and spirits.
Add that in there.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
What'd you roll?
Wow, we all
Have-
rolled once.
I have
Wait,
10
all of
dice
us?
in that. I have 10
Oh,
dice. And I rolled a 1.
Hey,
One.
I have
One.
10 dice in the
All
combat stuff, but I was rolling zeros.
okay.
Okay,
So
so-
we're all rolling.
So I got
Occult and
Well, no,
intellect.
If you
Those
have
that
the
are
occult
trained.
skill.
Yeah, if you have
Oh
the
yeah,
occult
I don't
skill.
have that.
Yeah,
So
I have
I-
occult and I have intellect, and I have about 6 dice to roll.
so I got a 2 success.
I got 3 technically, since it's her specialty.
Okay, 3's enough. It takes you a second, and you start to put it together. It's clearly that's going to be it's probably Jack's sister that's down there. So you know that's Celtic pantheon.
Like narrowing down, like boop, 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 boop.
It's like a Venn diagram. How do all these things fit together? What do we have in the middle? The Celts had a story of it's usually depicted as a spirit. Sometimes it was depicted as a fae of something called a fetch. If you saw the fetch would look exactly like you, and it was shoot, blanking on the word here. It was a sign that your death was imminent.
Mm.
The fetch wasn't something that showed up and killed you or played any part in you dying.
It's like the Grim.
Kind of. It's just that was a sign. It was like another you showed up, basically. Now, you don't specifically remember if the fetches were supposed to have people's memories or not.
Yeah. Show us pipe up. It's a fetch?
She is a fetch.
She is a fetch. My apologies.
But Bridget, the Jack's sister, is she was a member of the Band of Texas.
Yeehaw.
Have we heard something about this band before?
Yes,
Yeah,
that was
there
the
was-
band
Yes.
that fought the creature that rose out of the lake before
Okay.
Olympus was
Okay.
built.
Yeah, they were the original defenders. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
She was fated to die, but not before she had killed her attacker. Things have gotten a little weird. The attacker's still alive, and she is preserved.
That's
Basically, as
interesting.
long as she lies in the sarcophagus, for lack of a better word, basically time isn't passing for her. The poison that she was injected with isn't advancing. but when she's let out, she'll have a few hours at most.
Is there any way to take the poison out, or just
It's a fate binding.
A lot of those going around lately.
Mhm.
Just because it's fate doesn't mean we can't change that. There's got to be something we can do
That's,
to fix.
He gives
to
you a
stop
look
it.
like, "Oh, sweet summer child."
That's a dangerous way of thinking.
Oh,
What? No, the fates are punks. They're not going to do anything.
They ain't gonna do shit.
So
I'm
you have
not
both the Greek
saying-
fates and the Norse Norns just looking at you.
All of a sudden,
Oh, we're gonna have fun with this one.
oh
Mm.
god, the three witches. Sure.
So
he does stop and think for a moment when he makes that statement. It's like, yeah, that is a bad thing to say, but I feel like there's something that can be done.
Anyway, that's why she was upset. Well, technically, she hasn't met Jack. She has all the memories of growing up with him.
Ah.
So you weren't
take
technically lying. Wait, we did ask that, right?
Yeah, you'd asked if she was the sister. Yeah.
So you weren't technically lying.
No. It's also why Jack doesn't have a whole lot of use for me.
Jack didn't know.
Oh, Jack knows his sister's here. The sarcophagus can't really be moved. But he also knows she's fated to die as soon as she wakes up. There's a lot of emotional baggage there, but Anthony reaches into his shirt and pulls out a little chain, and there's a man's wedding ring on it.
So there's a lot going on here.
Well, Kathy's been here watching over her for quite a while, and when we met, I didn't know her true nature. I knew she was part of the community, if you will.
What happens to Kathy if she comes out of the sarcophagus?
A
If
fetch
you're
ceases
just-
to exist when the person they're linked to dies. They're a warning of the imminent death, and then, well, once an event's happened, you don't need the warning anymore.
So again, as long as she stays in stasis and is not dead, she continues to live on.
Right.
There's a lot of layers here.
Mm-hmm.
She prefers people not to know what she is, because
Yeah.
a lot of people get nervous around fetches at the best of times.
Well, people that know what they are.
Yes. And we don't want to advertise that this is where Bridget is laid up. Oh, excuse me, Bridget.
I don't think any of us have any intention of any of this conversation leaving this room.
Good.
Oh
Good.
no. This is far too sensitive a subject to remotely take out of this room.
Connor's gonna pause. He'll tilt his head and see if he can hear anybody that might be lurking by the door, because that's a lot of people just went into the office.
Give me.
Come on, dice.
You're due one.
You're due one. Come on.
You know.
Manipulation. Or maybe
Subterfuge?
composure. Let's go. Well, they really just need something for awareness. Just some kind of baseline.
Can I make the argument for manipulation? Because Connor is used to that whole like sneaking around, listening in on things, trying to glean information.
I mean, I guess if this was private, Jaden would have enabled complete privacy
What is that now?
by
Exactly
reinforcing
what
the
it says.
importance of your personal boundaries. Any interactions you take cannot be listened in on. Your lips cannot be read. Your phone cannot be tapped, etc. by mundane means.
Okay.
I think that's just tied to you, though.
Yeah, that means they wouldn't hear your part of the conversation.
Yeah.
All right, Connor, give me manipulation and subterfuge.
Okay. Since he's specifically listening for people that might be sneaking around to listen in, can I use the stealth specialization to like listen for like people trying to be quiet?
He would know what to listen in for.
I'll allow it.
Use some momentum.
Or don't.
Fine.
We have
Yeah.
the pool. Use it,
You
boy.
have 4 points.
I thought we had 5 now.
Yeah, we have 5.
5.
Yeah, we rolled another 0. We rolled a couple more zeros.
Okay, so 5.
Oh shit, are we at 6 then?
No.
No, we're still
five.
5.
We're at
How much
5.
do you want to spend?
I'll use 2.
All right. You're spending 2 momentum.
Okay.
Okay.
Joke's on
So 4 successes.
You think you hear the scuff of shoes outside the door. It's very light.
Connor just quietly hands the bowl to Robert.
Yes.
Hold this hubcap of nachos.
He looks at Anthony and just goes, and
And
then
he kind of mouths, crap.
and then very quickly just around the door to grab where he's listening, where he can hear the scuffle.
So you just yank the door open.
Basically, yank the door open and then immediately reach for where he can hear the shoes.
You hear kind of a high-pitched squeak. Ah! And as you pull a blonde woman into the room.
And then he closes the door again.
I was just looking for the bathroom.
This is not the bathroom.
Anything but the...
Oh, well, that's good, because it's awful crowded. I'll just,
Yeah. What were you doing?
looking for the bathroom.
Hilarious.
You were intentionally trying to be quiet.
Hilarious.
Yeah, Sasha's also looking at Hilarious.
Well, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be in the kitchen, but I wasn't sure where the bathroom was.
There's
The
signs
bathroom
for
is
us
very
outside.
clearly marked.
Oh,
It's a
I must have
public
missed it.
place.
I am activating nothing but the truth.
As she goes to say, well, I must have just missed the signs. What actually comes out instead is, Chad, just want to know what y'all are doing back here.
God damn it.
Fucking Chad.
Of course, that little pissant does.
I mean, he didn't send me, but I thought if I could find out, he'd know.
Can I get your phone, please?
No?
Either you hand me your phone or I take your phone.
That's theft.
It's
Just
out of my purse.
Okay,
Gotcha.
it's not with you. Good. Need to make sure you weren't messaging him anything.
No.
tell me, what did you hear?
The one waitress was supposed to be fetching something for somebody.
She can't lie,
And
so...
there's like some dead guy whose sister's, I don't know, sick or in the basement or something. I couldn't hear real well.
Good reason.
Connor,
She
shall,
can. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. What's up?
shall we go out and entertain Chad for a moment?
Oh, if entertain
no,
chat, there might be a
no.
hole in the wall.
No. You two.
I'm,
You would punch him looking at Connor.
That
You would encourage it.
he might be getting grabbed at mock speeds and out the window,
Oh.
but
We don't need to be making.
We don't. We're not starting a
He-
fight. I'm looking at the
he-
groupie.
I'm not
We're not
He didn't do
starting
anything.
a
He
fight.
just wondered what y'all were doing, and I thought, might make him happy if I found out.
I'm not trying to encourage anything. I would have offered him a drink. Maybe bought a round for him and his girls. Who knows? At least show him that we're not, completely ignoring the fact he exists, though it would be a fun thought. But that's beside the point.
Just go back. Forget this ever happened.
You were correct. The one lady, I think she went out to fetch some extra cheese or something.
Some water
They were
or
out.
cheese or something. Yeah. It's a supplies run.
Oh, okay.
And it's an urn like that's in the basement. Nothing
Yeah.
important. They were having it shipped over. We brought it back when we came back from Belgium.
Who is like a dead lady's ashes in the ooh?
It's
It's
Place
a
to wind up
memorial
party.
thing. It's
It
a
was
memorial
brought back
thing.
for family. That's all it was. They didn't want to advertise it. It's already been passed off. There's nothing else to be told about it.
Hold on.
Okay,
I'm looking
okay.
it up.
I'll just head back then.
Thank you.
I actually do need to go to the bathroom now. As she walks off.
It's not back here.
Connor still hasn't let her go.
Let her go.
As he looks her dead in the eye,
Connor.
it's like, and keep in mind, you're the queen of being completely forgetful of everything, aren't you?
Oh my god.
And he will imbue a legend to invoke a title on her so she forgets that entire conversation.
She looks blank for a second and then kind of shakes herself. Where's the bathroom? Entity.
Oh
tells
dear,
her.
you must have gotten lost. I'll walk you there.
Third door on the left.
I'll walk her there. I'll meet you all
thank
back
that's so
out.
sweet.
I'll meet you all back out in the dining room.
You show her the restroom and she's
She must have had too much to drink, clearly. She just got a little muddled.
as you're showing her the restroom, she's looking around the building. Or where are we?
Oh no.
He just screwed her.
Oh dear.
You
Oh
wanna talk-
sweetheart. We'll take care of it.
And then she starts to get kind of panicky because she doesn't remember who she is.
Oh no.
Because she's the queen of forgetting
Sorry.
everything.
Well, since we're all bringing cats on camera.
You're just lucky she can walk and remembers bladder control at this point.
Oh god. Sasha may walk back by the room with her. Could you please amend this title slightly?
To what?
She's forgot who she is. Please amend it to, I don't know, the queen of forgetting conversations behind closed doors. Queen of keeping her mouth quiet about secrets.
That one's probably better, and he'll change the title.
And then she really does have to hustle off to the bathroom.
Well, she would have made sure she went to the bathroom and everything and then walked back by.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've
Well,
managed to creatively edit her memory, hopefully in a way that won't be noticed by anybody else.
She had too much to drink or something, I don't know.
Well, he did change the title to Queen of
Keeping her mouth shut about secrets.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Queen of keeping her mouth shut about secrets she listened in on.
So even if she remembers it at this point, she's not going to talk about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And from what she told you all under the hilarious truth serum stuff, it's not like she really heard enough that she even had a clue what was actually being discussed.
Yeah, but
It might have been enough to give clues to somebody competent. But...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Chad would have known and then would have told Penelope.
Oh
and-
yeah, because Chad's really going
Yeah.
to be competent in the occult stuff.
Yeah, thankfully, Chad doesn't hang out with too many competent women.
No, but I'm just saying it could have
Damn.
traveled and
Aside
then
from Penelope and all that.
Penelope would have figured it out.
This was one of two options. The other option was to use overwhelming chaos and scramble her brain.
No! We are
No
not
traveling
tormenting
brain?
civilians much
Anthony might have had issues with you doing that in his bar too.
Mm.
All right,
in his office.
it's after 9 anyway, so we're gonna wrap here.
Oh shit, it is.
So yeah, the rest of the evening passes. Y'all finish y'all's meal or whatever.
Hmm.
Sasha will try and find Kathy and just give her a hug. No, like, explanation why. Just give her a hug.
You don't see her again that night.
Damn.
She may have just called it early and gone home.
Okay.
So anyway, hope y'all had fun. I enjoyed running this one.
E.
Hope everybody that came by and watched enjoyed it. Anybody that comes by and watches later. If you're looking for more gaming, we've got maybe not as many games as we would have had. Let's see. I think a Knight's Ransom.
A Knight's Ransom, yes.
That one's on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
Saturday is the Stolen Cities.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Direbear's got something on Saturday or on Sundays now.
So
Let's go
on
straight to YouTube.
It goes straight to YouTube. There is a new 5e game called Varenheim. Mostly new cast. You will recognize Otter if you see him. It's a big red beard's hard to miss. And not tomorrow, but the next Wednesday after our game is going to be another. I believe it's going to be 5th edition by longtime member of the community, JT.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be called Thauscalian Knights, which is another 5th edition game.
It's all 5th edition except us.
And then the Monday after that, I will be running a one-shot on the Monday slot.
Yes, because the second season of the Troubleshooters wrapped up yesterday, didn't it?
Correct.
Okay.
So they're going to be taking a month off.
So plenty of gaming, almost every day of the week. Not quite, but almost every day of the week.
We're getting there.
And then, of course, next Tuesday we'll be back with the World at War. So we'll see y'all then. Everybody wave.